clash in endless collision. Gaming news with a fierce precision. With a spark so wild it breaks the norm. In the tempest's eye, a your analysts face the score. Truth burns with a psychotic roar. Corrupt suits sneer what they despise. DragonCast will open your eyes. Integrity found in DragonCast. Fire-breathing metal, screaming loud. Lavistro's here to shake the crowd. Psychotic dragon ready to ignite. Hold on tight, we're taking flight! DragonCast! DragonCast! Justice cut through the dark. Lavistro's roar ignites the spark. A dragon's heart fiercely defends the gaming world. Our passion ascends. This is DragonCast. DragonCast.
Hello, everybody. How we doing today? It's me, Lavistro, the Dragon of Cyberspace, coming to you with another episode of DragonCast. Before we introduce the panel today, I do want to acknowledge people in the chat, which obviously we started a little late, but I will still acknowledge Arobi's here. And keep in mind, this is supposed to YouTube temporarily until my budget works better to where I can also do Rumble as well. But let's introduce the panel. Bo couldn't be here today because he had some things going on with family. And Dan is working today, so he also could be here. But we do have Dash Attack.
Hey,
Dash,
everyone.
how you doing today?
I'm doing all right. You know, it's been a quiet day. Got some grocery shopping done. Don't know what I'm going to be doing after the show, but yeah, we'll see.
Yep. We also got one of our viewers that's coming in to help join in with the conversation because I don't know about you, Dash, but my knowledge of 40K is very limited. So I wanted to make sure that the special guest we actually have here today, he's not wasting his time, and wanted to encourage a 40K nerd talk. So, Valkiria Winter. Hello, Val.
Hello, how's it going?
Great.
Hey,
Thanks for
man.
being here.
No worries. Cheers for inviting me.
No problems. How you doing?
Pretty tired. I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Was had to let the dog out.
You're on the other side of the planet.
Indeed, I am. In
But
Australia.
thanks for coming. That it really means a lot for us to have a viewer come by and share a discussion. And we also have the Common Nerd. Hey.
What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing? No,
Great.
but yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah, busy day. So I just got off a stream. I was over there with Wade, Real Wade Nation Gaming Clips, doing a what was the Tron 2. We did a review and watch a party over there on his Rumble channel over there. That was a lot of fun. I'd never seen that movie before, so I had to sit down and actually watch the original Tron this morning because I realized after watching it that I'd never actually seen it from the beginning to all the way to the end. All I'd ever seen is bits and pieces of it. So yeah. And then I got another show after this tonight. So yeah, it's gonna be a long day.
Well, I know. He's a moderator for me.
Nice.
Yep. How's
Yeah,
it doing?
Wade's
I
good
haven't been
people.
able to follow his content lately. I've been so freaking busy.
He's good. He just cuts out a lot of gaming clips and stuff like
Yeah,
that. He
he-
really
he-
likes his shorts.
I think he just had a viewer milestone. He was showing me recently. It was I wasn't sure if it was views or it was he got 1 million something.
Yeah, I think it was like overall views on his YouTube channel, because he'll get one of them shorts to go viral every once in a while, and it'll bring him in a bunch of views.
Oh yeah, like when a short goes viral, it's just, the only thing is, like, for every like viral short you get like several duds, which is why like I don't make them as frequently anymore, because they were just clogging up my channel.
Yeah. Yep, that'll happen.
I'll make a couple, but it's rare. Like, I like to use just like for example, when Dan decided to scare me with a blurb, it was actually pretty good. So it's like, here you go, Dan. I made a one big meme about your failing to defuse the bomb in RoboCop 37 times. So it's only fair that I get to share a YouTube short where you got me for once.
Oh yeah,
That's
that
awesome.
clip was great.
But that being said, this part here is unscheduled, and I've had people in the past ask me like my thoughts on this and that. But I freaking told people so that if you give irrelevant grifters attention, you're feeding them. And what happens is you blew them up on Twitter. I'm not directing this at any physical person, I'm directing this as a community. So the person I'm talking about is John Delarose, talking about basically anti-Semitic stuff, and between him and Smash JT. People are covering it now, but if you like, when I did not know who JDA was when Gunnergate happened. And to be fair, full disclosure for those who want to point this out, I'm actually proud of this. I've been blocked by JDA, John F. Trent, and York Tort. And I'm a small channel. They can't grift off me. But it's something to be said when you speak the truth and they come after you, dislike your videos, and try to shut you down, intimidate you when you've been clinically dead for 2 minutes, that nothing freaking scares you. That being said, I have a video covering JDA's history in video games, comic books, Trump supporters, sci-fi, and his failed political run. That he's doing all this to try and become a culture warrior for his next alleged political run. So when he says stuff like God is racist and racism isn't a sin, and then also calls himself a Latinx, and I find all these screenshots of his Facebook and Twitter posts, and it's the same thing for 20 plus years. There's a time when you look at it and realize when he leaves the space, it's because people ignore him. He has 3 failed websites in his past. Phantom Pulse will be the next one. When he realizes he can't get what he wants from us gamers, he will go away, just like Alyssa Mercante. But those are my thoughts. And before we move on to what people really hear about, I'm going to let the panel give their thoughts about the JDA situation, whether they agree about covering it or not. And also, since we have a Valkyria Winter here, he also has a view. So we're going to go with Dash Attack first.
Well, he tried to bait me on Ryan Rogers' show yesterday. I tried to ignore him. I almost gave him what he wanted. But yeah, he's just off the rails. He and Trent are completely off the rails, to the point even Torch is turning a new leaf now. And honestly, like, I don't know. Those two are just weird and toxic.
To me, their God is politics, not God himself. And they will use religion
absolutely.
to justify that.
Yeah, no, like,
but
I mean, I've been with I've grown up in a Christian family. I've been to church. They're not, they don't act like
they don't act the way the Bible says. Yes. And Common Nerd, you have a history of streaming, giving pop culture, and I'm probably butchering this, all the newslands. Actually, you probably can correct me on that one because I know I butchered it. But what are your thoughts on the situation regarding JDA?
I mean, I don't know squat about it and what's going on. I don't generally pay attention to drama that's going on with anybody. I don't give a shit. I've got bigger dragons to slay. Like we've got a AAA gaming idiot industry that like holds some of our most beloved IPs hostage behind all of these horrendously overbloated fucking companies. Like, you know, Disney's still out there causing fucking problems, and it's like we get a couple of wins and all of a sudden everybody wants to take their fucking eye off the prize, and then all this bullshit starts going on, and I'm just like, I don't want no part of none of this. Like, I've got other things to talk about, you know what I mean? And you know, I know like I know some people are into like covering drama and stuff like that. I mean, hell, there's entire channels that's all they do, and by all means go with God. But it's like I'm not, it's not my thing. And so like I am not on Twitter enough to even keep track of that stuff. I go on there in the morning, I collect my news articles, and you know, I fuck my day the rest of the way off, you know. So like I don't even keep up with any of this kind of stuff. It's like I said, that's always my problem with any of this. It's like we've got bigger things to fucking take care of than all this infighting and people trying to one up each other and engagement farming and everything else. We ain't got time for that. So we need to be better than the people we're trying to replace.
Yes, I agree. I think I say a lot on Twitter as well. It's like we can do better.
That's why I tried to not do a video, and I just talked about these price hikes instead. I could have done a JDA video. I chose not to.
I didn't get a chance to watch that video, but luckily we're going to be talking about today. But you know, since we're all Ultra streamers, you know, I want to take this rare chance to give a viewer a chance to put his voice. So, Val, what are your thoughts on the whole JDA? Do you want to hear more about it? Do you want to hear?
I'm only hearing about once. Okay, that's about for me personally. You know, I'll probably sit down and listen to like either you or Hypno or something like that, and just talk about it once, and that's fucking it. Sorry, and that's it. That's all you need to know. You don't have to keep dragging on like everyone else has been doing, constantly going on, because that does give them clout. That gives them reason to keep on going. Like just say your piece. That's it once, and then be done with it. Carry on. Do whatever you want to talk about afterwards. Because majority of the time, if you keep going on, I'm gonna just switch off. I'm gonna go flick to someone else to listen to, or listen to I don't know, catch up some TV shows that I haven't played and that watched, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement here. But yes, there's I'm just gonna add what Val said here. But there's a Family Guy video where Chris goes to they all go to the fair, and Chris wins a homosexual. And he asks Lois, what do I do with this? And what do I feed it? And she goes, attention. You feed them attention. So that's the same with these this drama content. That's why I said in my tweet, I fucking told you so. He wants you to respond. He's actually commented on my videos, and I don't respond. I'll make a comment about it if it's relevant to the topic. But reality, this is probably the longest conversation even JDA needs. But this is basically us saying our thoughts on the conversation, and why me personally, I won't cover it because I already have. It's a once and done. But that being said, let's talk about more relevant news. I got two people here who are on my show that are not regulars of my show. One's a viewer, and one, well, I watch his content, but we're not on his channel. Jesse, aka TheCOmmonNerd, and Valkiria Winter, who I call Val. Who the fuck are you? Why the fuck are you on my show? And why the fuck should my viewers care? Starting with TheCOmmonNerd.
You asked me to be here. That's the reason I'm fucking here. But no, I'm Jesse. I'm the Common Nerd. I do pop culture and all things nerdy through a common sense lens. So I cover pretty much everything. Movies, television shows, Marvel, Disney, all of that kind of stuff. And just trying to push back against all of the insanity out there in the world to try to leave a better place for my 6 kids. So, it's one of them situations where that's a lot of fun stuff to get into. And I have a lot of it. And I guarantee you, if there's a topic in pop culture that you're interested in. I've probably done at least one video over it at some point because the news is always going nuts. So yeah, that's what I'm up to. And I live stream literally 7 days a week. So yeah, come check me out. And I also got my last YouTube channel new. It's funny because you were talking about that, like pushing back and calling out people's bullshit and stuff like that. And I called out the Robin Hood, the Canadian Robin Hood, the little black girl, the gangster, yeah, the little ghetto one or whatever. It was me and like Ryan and like Hypnotic and a few other people that all ended up in his fucking little Instagram crybaby reel. And it was like weird. It's like shortly after that, my entire old YouTube channel got nuked. Weird how that happens. So come check out my Shiza. It's a lot of fun.
And Val.
Well, I'm here because you needed someone else to talk about 40k and jibber jabber about all that sort of stuff, which is fine. I love 40k. I'm pretty much just a gamer. I play all sorts of games. I would love to play more 40k games. Definitely need more of them out there. That's for sure. And yeah, I view pretty much most of you people here on the panel as well. While I'm pretty much gaming, and that's pretty. And I do like role playing and stuff like that on MMOs because I enjoy that. I love doing writing stories and arcs and stuff. That's normal role playing, not the other weird role playing. Okay, get that naughtiness out of your minds.
No kink shaming. No kink shaming
here, but we do have to keep this family friendly because of
exactly.
YouTube. And in Rumble, well, let's just say one of these days I'm going to test Rumble because I'm pretty sure I'll be the first one ever banned on Rumble.
If Mikey's not banned, you won't be banned.
Oh no! I keep myself very censored online. The only thing I'm probably not really censored on is Discord, especially when I talk to Sonya.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah. So that being said, also I want to point out Valkiria Winter is a viewer. Well, he already said that, but he streams with us on Goodness for Life, so you might hear him in the background when we play on Dan's Goodness for Life thing tonight. But let's talk about why you guys are here, which is 40K. Now, obviously, when I say 40K, the average normie is going to think probably what's in my bank account or the cost of a car. But when I say 40K to you two, it's something totally different. So let's start with what is 40K. If I was someone, I think this is a very important conversation to have. If I was someone that was interested in 40K and I go look online on Google, what is 40K? I'm pretty sure I'm going to be overwhelmed by the amount of lore going back decades, lustrums, which is 20 years.
Yep.
Or no, 5 years. No, lustrums is 5 years. So 20 years would be a generation. Generations of lore added, retcon, everything else. You got different things going on. And I'm pretty sure, Val, you spurred a little on 40K as well. Nerd, I asked you, I was able to finish that thumbnail, but I was asking you about, putting you in a 40K, but I wanted to respect because I know you have your own chosen faction, all this stuff. But what is 40K? And for a newbie who wants to get into it, where do y'all think to start? And go. Anyone can start.
Oof, that's a tough one. So, COmmonNerd, do you want to do that? Discuss
go
what
ahead,
40K. Oh, okay. Well, so I can probably put it down to a bit more basic. So 40K is set in the universe far, far, far in the future, which is roughly in about the 41st millennium, pretty much. So all of humanity is pretty much united under one flag. They are very religious, as the Emperor is their god. Which technically he's not a god, but for purpose sakes, we're just going to say he is. So I saw that, yeah, but it's really your point of view on how you want to see it.
Now the real question is he dead or alive?
Whoa! Yeah, see that's another thing. And then if you're going to discuss about that, then you want to discuss about how many psychics get sacrificed to him just to keep the bloody guy alive as well. So again,
keep the lights on.
Yeah, the lore.
Whoa! Okay, hold on.
Oh,
That
you didn't know this?
I like I said, I don't know much about 40K.
Okay, so
I'm
the
so
Emperor.
like I'm still I Nerd recommended a book
Yeah,
I was reading, and I left it at the VA.
So the
Oh, no.
God Emperor of Man is currently a vegetable in a chair and on like eternal life support, and this is only known by a select few in the Imperium.
Yeah,
Only
the
like
nobles of the high
Yeah,
nobles of
that
the
part
of
I'm
the empire.
understanding. The whole sacrifice thing. That's new
Oh
to
yeah,
me.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
no,
remember,
no.
I'm doing this for people who are curious about 40K. I mean, it's supposed to be for both, so you might have to spell
Yeah.
out things for people.
Yeah, so like I said, the 40K universe is vast, and there's like so much lore, and I think we kind of like started to sidetrack as well a bit too
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, that happened.
Okay, it's okay. I'm pretty much expecting y'all to carry the whole stream. I'm just here to mediate and ask questions.
Yeah.
So if we get off topic, I'll bring us back
So
in.
so again, so you got the 40K, which is really, far in the future and all that sort of stuff. You've got different alien races, which all were created by one set of being called the Old Ones. Are they still called the Old Ones?
As far as I know, I haven't heard anything
Yeah.
change.
So like
Yeah, so-
Cthulhu?
Yeah, so they're meant to be like the first race or something.
you're talking about the Necrons.
No,
No,
Necrons. The old ones
Necron-
who
no,
actually.
even before then, then those
Yeah.
ones are even before then.
See,
But yeah, they created certain races and stuff like that.
yeah, so they created like the Orcs, the Eldar, the Necrons, or sorry, they weren't called Necrons back then, but
Mhm.
the Necrons became the Necrons after when they found the first Citan or Catan, depending on however you want to pronounce it. And but yeah, they pretty much made everyone except for the Tyranids. That's one race that's not part of our universe. Yeah, our universe. They're from a different universe.
Yep.
But that, and they all had their own jobs as well, because what I can remember is they were designed to fight against chaos, the rune powers.
Mhm.
That's the big bads in the universe which corrupt people. From the Eye of Terror, which was created back when the Elder were was it at their highest point. I
It's when Celeste was. It was when one of the four Chaos gods was born. When Celeste was born, it tore a hole in space. Essentially, it tore a hole in space and time. The warp is essentially hell. It's like the entire sea of all of humanity's emotions. But yeah, essentially, the humanity is trying to conquer the universe, purge all the Xenos, and purge all the heretics at the exact same time while trying to
Hold on, what's
survive
the
and
Xenos?
reclaim old tech and all kinds of
Xenos
stuff.
is an alien.
Anything not human.
Aliens. Yeah,
Okay, so
anything
this is the
not
same as the
human.
regular Xenos. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Oh,
if that was an actual
yeah.
faction.
No.
All right.
Oh yeah, no. That's all of the. That would be
So
all
where do
of the
elves
aliens
fit in all
come.
this? I've seen some memes of
That's the Eldar.
Eldar.
Yeah, the Elder.
Okay.
So
Yeah, they're the space elves.
yeah, so because people would actually mix Warhammer with Warhammer 40,000. Okay,
Mhm.
and you got to actually.
Oh, my next question. Go ahead, enlighten us.
So because Warhammer is based on fantasy and a different it's a different
Yeah, Warhammer Fantasy.
fantasy.
Yeah,
So
literally.
yes, they have the same like chaos gods and all that sort of stuff, but it's still a complete different universe compared to Warhammer 40,000 as well.
Yeah, and fantasy is way less popular than 40K too.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Well,
the
it
fantasy
became-
fans out
came
there.
first. Fantasy
Yeah,
came
I'm more
first, but
familiar with
40K
the
became more
fantasy.
popular. Is how
Yeah,
I
no,
understand it.
I played the
I think the-
TTRPG for Warhammer.
Yeah, and I think the
and
Warhammer got
TFG.
less popular when they did the whole Sigma thing, like bringing
Yeah,
out
Age of
all the,
Sigmar.
yeah, the Age of Sigma. Yeah,
Yeah, I know that one really upset a lot of people. I saw
And
when I was first delving into Warhammer 40K, those were some of the first videos I saw as Games Workshop has killed fantasy.
well, that's the other thing that some people have issues with now with all the Primarchs coming along. Are we they were thinking, oh no, this is going to be another Age of Sigma thing going on for 40K. People got worried, but I think a lot of people are actually not too bad because they're not going. I don't think they're going to go down that route again because they saw how much backlash that they got last time when it's so.
Why did Age of
I mean-
Sigmar get backlash?
I'm not 100% sure on the actual thing, but I know it's just because how they changed so much rules, and I think it was coming like the end times or something. But I'm
there's a
not a
lot of
full
lore changes.
yeah, I'm not 100% sure on like Warhammer itself. Like 40k a bit more, but yeah, Warhammer
Yeah.
not 100% sure. But I do know there was.
Speaking from a person who played the fantasy side, let's just say after the Age of Sigmar, things just dissolved rapidly. I couldn't even tell you the original source of how things, but it just like it's like Thanos snapped his fingers. That's how
Yeah.
fast it
Well,
dissolved. You can't really track it.
Age of Sigmar is the one too that introduced their first non-binary hero as well. That was pretty funny.
God.
Oh, so then,
Oh yeah. Oh
you
yeah.
think if they were going to introduce SJW like stuff, they do it in 40k in the future, but no, they do it in the fantasy setting.
Well,
Yeah.
No, which is kind of funny because like from correct me if I'm wrong here because I don't follow the 40k lore, and I part of my concern about that is because I'll mix them up. But from what I understand, they're both the same timeline. It's just 40k is 40k years.
No, different universes.
no, different universe.
Different universes.
Ah,
Yeah.
Because
they're
you
not
got
the
to
same
remember,
anymore.
Warhammer is based on one planet. Like, because all the elf, everyone is all on that planet, all fighting for their areas. Because also they got vampires as well. Okay, like
Yeah,
you
that's
don't have
true.
vampires in 40k.
Yes. So now I'm going to put it this way: I'm a normie. I just play games, right? Now, full disclosure, obviously, I played the Space Marine 1. Awesome game. I loved the game.
Yes.
I loved the story. I loved the dialogue. I loved everything. Like, literally, I loved everything about it. It's what made me pique my interest in 40K. But I was in the military, so I couldn't really, invest the time in it, especially when Jesse, you're a veteran too. Especially when you have like 50 kids running around that are supposed to be full-grown adults.
I have piles of shame underneath my desk and half assembled miniatures on my desk over here as well. So yeah, that's exactly how that goes. Never enough time in the day.
Yeah, and then like with that, it's like I just to read the lore to see if that's what I really want to invest myself in. I didn't start reading the book, which fucking brain injury doesn't let me remember the fucking title. But it was the one you recommended, and it was like
Probably one of the Caiaphas Cain books.
Yeah, him.
Caiaphas Cain. Yeah, Caiaphas.
Oh,
Cain.
the Inquisitor.
Good. It's really good.
No. That's Eisen. No, you're thinking of Eisenhorn. No, Caiaphas Cain is the He's the commissar, and his sidekick's a null. Yeah, dude, his books are hilarious. His books are funny.
After I stream Lavistro Plays when I go to bed, I read those books. I have insomnia, obviously. So I've been reading them lately, and I can't put it down. It's like I got to a part, I can't remember the freaking part that freaking chat. There was so much stuff in that book that I can't tell you where I was at, but I was like, I can't put this down. So I went to the VA to read it, and then I had to obviously talk about my feelings, bite the therapist. You know how it goes.
Yeah, typical things.
And then I go up and I think, well, I gotta go now. I left the book on her sofa and she's on vacation.
Damn.
I didn't realize it until after. I was her last appointment for the day. So when I came back, I was like, oh, fuck. So I called to see if she's still there. Nope.
Already gone.
Yeah. But yeah, that being said, because I kind of spurred off myself here. Going back to, let's see, I played the Space Marine 2. All right. That's the game that just came out.
Yeah, that's the one that came out last year.
Yep.
I'm like, hey, I'm a big fan of 40K. I love 40K. This game was awesome, but obviously you're gonna be like normie, like that's what y'all are gonna say.
Well, yeah, there's a whole lot of many other 40k games which are really good as well.
Yeah,
but
I'm working on.
My point is, it's
right
like
fuck yeah. Sorry,
I used the reference of the more popular of the 40K games that are out right now.
Space Marine's great.
If I knew my best friends, YouTube, for example, were 40K lovers, and I want to get into the customizable figurine games, I want to get into the books, I want to get into everything, And obviously, I'm gonna get overwhelmed and probably like rage quit because there's so much knowledge in there. Where would y'all say I should start?
Just get a starter kit. Or actually, you know what? If you want to just get your feet in the water and see if you're gonna like it. What are those combat patrol boxes? You can get one of those and you can play like a mini game of Warhammer 40K with one of those. So instead of having to have like an entire army and all of that kind of stuff, you can just have like a little squad. And I think that would probably be a pretty good place as far as getting your feet wet.
I would also say if you have any mates, friends that play it as well, I would actually go see them because I'm bound that they would probably have more than just one army as well.
Oh yeah.
So you can test out because again, you got to remember, unfortunately, to get into the actual tabletop, it's very expensive.
Yeah. I also want to give Lavistro a suggestion that like when you
I'm speaking for the audience.
Yeah. Well, that is for the audience. It is very, very expensive.
No, you're correct, Dash. You're not speaking. You're not speaking for me. You're speaking to the audience.
Okay. Well, if anyone who wants to get into 40K, I recommend. Once you pick what army you want, you can. They give you like a full history of the faction within the rule book for each army. So, like, I'm a Tyranids player. I haven't played in a long time.
What's a Tyranid?
But, like,
Tyrannid is one of the.
Oh my god! Yes. So
is
can I explain?
Go, man.
Okay, so Tyranids are basically they are a all-consuming hive mind of insects from another galaxy that just eat all biological matter, evolve, and like they are all part of a hive mind that's just always hungry, wants to consume all life until there's nothing left.
Yep, they're kind of like the Zerg in StarCraft as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's another good experiment.
Yeah, they have
the bugs in
Starship
Helldivers 2 or Starship Troopers.
Yeah, except there's like way more variety. There's lots of different types, and then they've got like hybrids that are like half Tyranid, half human. The gene stealers.
The gene stealers. Then the gene stealers,
and like
cults as well.
Yeah,
which is also in Road Trader, which I just love when I heard that. That was awesome.
I can't wait to get there. This is what Dash was talking about with one of these. Your codex, and it gives you your basic.
That's the 10th
I love
edition,
my Dark
isn't
Angels. I can't remember.
That's one from what you showed me last year, I believe.
Oh yeah. No, this is probably the 8th or the 9th edition. This is the fucked up part is they don't tell you what editions they are on the books. You're just supposed to go to your local Games Workshop store or their website and buy whatever the latest one is that they've got. So I got some of these secondhand, and I just like them for the history and the art and all of that kind of stuff in them. They're great. So the pictures are beautiful.
Actually, do have one question for you, nerd. Do you have the lion?
I do have the lion.
Oh,
he is in my pile. He is in my pile of shame in a box underneath my desk. But yes, I was on Games Workshop's website on Saturday waiting for that release. I was watching Warhammer 40K tournament on my TV because War Games live streams like every Saturday and Sunday, and I was watching that, and I was sitting there on my phone. I was sitting there on my phone or on my laptop in line waiting to get it. So
my brother's a huge Dark Angels, and I got the line for him for his for Christmas as well.
And that's awesome!
And over in Australia, it was sold out instantly.
Oh wow!
Well. So I was lucky I actually got it for his Christmas, and he's finished it and everything as well. But he's a huge Dark Angels fan.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was like, I was just starting to dip my toes into things, and I was just kind of scrolling through Amazon, looking at Warhammer 40K stuff, and I was like, I saw one of the Dark Angels models. It was not one of the short ones. It's like the McFarlane ones, and I was like, ooh, green. I like green. Green's my favorite color. Let me find out about these Dark Angels guys. And then
I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait for when they bring out the wolf. When they bring out the wolf, I'm getting him instantly.
Oh,
I love the Space Wolves. Though my first actual
furries.
Yeah. Well, my first company army was the Ultramarines, and so I had the Ultramarines for quite some time. Because they each legion or each Space Marine actually has a a style to them. Like the Ultramarines is more Roman. If you look at some of the armor with how they have it, and then you got like Space Wolves for
Well, I
like
would
more
say,
Vikings and stuff like that.
I would say
Yeah.
being a history
I mean, like
buff,
Dark Angels are very
the God
knights.
Emperor would
Yeah,
be
yeah.
literally a hail to Rome because he viewed the Emperor as God after the assassination
Oh yeah,
of Julius
in some
Caesar.
cases.
So
Yeah,
I always
big
thought it
one.
was just like space. Like this is probably where y'all going to come after me and say heresy, which I got something that even Nerve will like about that. But I always saw the Warhammer 40k to humans as kind of like space Rome.
Maybe a little bit.
In a way, it's probably a bit more like Rome / more heavy Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah, definitely the Spanish Inquisition.
Because
Definitely
of
the Spanish
how
Inquisition.
strict
Yeah.
their religion is. Like the minute if
Religiously
you
zealot.
yeah, but like if you get out of toe,
So like this.
just
Yes,
Well, technically,
exactly like that.
that's the Black Templar, so they're really more zealots than normal than any Space Marine chapter. Actually, if I remember.
Oh yeah.
So,
So
yeah.
that brings up a good point because I wanted to figure out how to angle this carefully. I checked the 40k forums and I noticed that depending on where you step, it's a landmine. Explain the theocracy of the God Emperor in a very simple pea-brain dragon explanation.
So
break it down Barney style.
So which one was it? The guys who are the no, they're not world eaters now. Either way, there was one of the particular. I'm having a brain fart, and Sky probably or Val can probably fill it in when I get this. But there was one particular legion of the Space Marines that were extremely religious because their Primarch grew up on a planet where he was very religious and involved with these gods and everything else that he worshipped. And then when the Emperor shows up, he sees him as a divine figure. He sees him as a god, and so he starts worshiping him. And the Emperor kind of tolerates it for a while, and then he kind of smacks his pee-pee, and the whole Horus heresy happens. But so then he gets eaten. So then he almost dies, and they enthrone him on the golden throne. And now one of the guys that's a heretic, he's actually responsible for the religion of the God Emperor worship. His book got around after the Emperor died because the Emperor always tried telling everybody he wasn't a god, he's just a man. And as soon as he was dead, everybody in the ecclesiarchy and everybody else came out of the woodwork and turned it into a state religion, essentially, to worship the God Emperor.
Yeah, see, if you want to actually understand probably the Horus heresy a bit better, you got the books on it, which actually explains a fair bit on.
There's a lot of
on it all as well. And there's actually one part in the book where there's a trying to remember what they're called. They're not reporters. They're called something else. But they're actually talking to a figure. Yeah, and they're talking to a dark figure, but it doesn't tell you who he is. But you actually do find out that was the Emperor that the individual was talking to, and he was discussing certain things. But in the Horus Heresy, you actually do have most of the Primarchs, because everyone deems them as gods. So not just the Emperor, but also the Primarchs. So that's his bracket sons. His sons, and there's like 20. There were 20 of them, I think it was. Like there's two. Yeah, so there's two of them are gone. Like 2 legions have been literally wiped out
from history as well.
Well, yeah, and history. So we don't. So honestly, you could probably sit here and say you don't know if they're actually alive or not, because none of the history is around the place at all from them. We do know one of the legion was almost completely wiped out, and I think that was the Crimson Fists, or that was. No. Were they a legion or were they a thing from the Imperial Fists?
The Crimson Fists were a thing. They were a successor chapter to the Imperial Fists.
Sorry. But majority of it during the whole heresy, which was during the 31st millennium, around about there.
It's been 10,000 years that he's been enthroned on the golden throne.
Majority of them have been hit hard, except for the Ultramarines, because the Ultramarines were doing something else during that time. and that's what the War Master Harris was happy about, because he didn't want all his brothers into this war. Now, if you go through the whole entire thing, you actually find that some of the traitor legions actually did not want to be part of the traitors. That you got the one with the Death Guard.
Yeah.
He actually wanted to help his father, or the Emperor. Okay, so he went through the warp and all that, but his High Librarian trapped them in the warp, and then that allowed Papa Smurf to, brackets, cleanse, disease them, corrupt them, and then that's how majority of them became part of the Legion as well, like part of the Traitor Legion. So there's a lot of lore through it all, but to actually understand like the Emperor a bit, you need to probably read or listen to, because it's on audio, majority of the Horus Heresy as well, because that would actually show how divine the Primarchs were looked on, including their actual Space Marines, and they're actually what was it? I think it was when you're talking about the Wolf Legion. So that was Horus's Legion. No, yeah, it was.
He did have some wolf iconography, but not as much as the Space Wolves.
Yeah, no, he was. What was his first one called? Before he became the Black Legion. Yeah, the Sons of Horus, and then became the Black Legion afterwards.
Well, it's the Black Legion now, but.
Yeah, so he actually had some people with him, like Badam, who's the successor of him now. He had Badam and a few other people in the Horus Heresy who were meant to keep the Primarch straight. Okay, because you got to remember, Primarchs are like demigods. Well, they were seen as demigods, and they could actually, just change completely, like in a way, as like they will just see themselves as gods and act as if they're almighty as well. So that's why they had their own little groups to keep them in line, or to say, hey, Primarch, that's probably not the best thing to do, and he might say, okay, yeah, sure, no worries, or he might just like bugger off, brother, or whatever. But that's one thing how Horus got changed, because Badam kind of led him down the path as well, not only listening to the gods as well. But yeah, there's a lot of going back to the whole thing. There's just so much information to really understand about the God Emperor, the religion, because also they found out that during that time as well. So during the Golden Age, that's just going sidetracked again. During the Golden Age, they got
okay. I'll let y'all know when y'all go.
Yeah. So during the Golden Age, which is again when the humans were at the highest peak of whatever, they had all sorts of things. Yeah, they had tech like anything. This is when the Emperor came along and got everyone, all the tribes, everyone all together. Everyone was going hurrah, hurrah, and all that sort of stuff, and they were killing everyone.
Well, that's not the golden era. No, because that's the time. That's where they had maximum technology and everything else.
Yeah.
And then the AI. There's an AI war.
Yeah,
there was an AI war, and it caused basically the downfall of human civilization.
Yeah,
we beat the bots, but we also lost everything.
Yeah. So during that, but also they got rid of religion as well. They wiped out, like, all religion was all gone, was all banned and all that sort of stuff. But during the whole part where, before the Horus Heresy, they started to realize that they needed something as well to keep people in line, because if not, they were being more pushed to chaos as well. So humanity did actually have to think of a religion to keep most people in line. I think that was my main thing.
Yeah,
pretty sure that's correct. So I'm pretty sure that's actually in. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's actually in Horus Heresy books as well.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, they go, the Horus Heresies is like 30 or 35 books or something like that, and they go into a lot of detail about what was happening in the universe right before the Emperor fell. The Emperor is kind of like a Jesus Christ figure because he literally sacrifices himself for all of humanity to save them from all the chaos, all the evil chaos. So that's so also part of the reason why, because the story got around.
Would explain the whole Emperor God worship.
Yeah,
some of
the Civil War.
Yeah, that's basically the big Civil War.
The skeleton or the meats and potatoes.
It's also the origin story of the Chaos Space Marines.
Yep.
Yes.
What the fuck is a Chaos Space Marine?
Okay, so a Chaos Space Marine is a space marine.
Simple term, so we don't spurg out.
It's just a space marine who's just been corrupted.
Yeah, he's evil. He's a bad guy.
Yeah, the Chaos worshippers, and they get gifts from Chaos.
Yeah, they worship the 4 evil gods, the 4 chaos gods. They
5.
Worship.
Are the 5 evil gods the same as Warhammer? And if they are, for normies who don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about, explain them in 40K terms.
Technically, they are exactly the same gods.
But they do have slightly different aspects from fantasy to 40K too.
Yeah.
Mostly the same, though. You can just consider them the same thing.
Now, Nerd, I know you stream games. I obviously try to come by and say hi and support, which unfortunately sometimes we conflict schedules. But when I go for a bathroom break or a water break, I stop by and I say hi when I can. So I already know you played 40K Rogue Trader. That was the one, right? Rogue Trader. You played that one last year.
Yeah, that's the most recent one.
I think you're still.
No, that's my most recent one. No, I just started Rogue Trader this week. That was Space Marine 2.
No, the one before. There was one before that. You had a Space Marine. It was like a top down.
I played Space Marine 1. Oh,
Dawn of War.
Yeah, the Dawn. I can't remember. Let me look at my Steam library. I know which one you're talking about. I only played it like one time. Yeah. So I know which one you're talking about, but I only played it once.
I always figure if it's a Warhammer 40K, because the way you spurg offline about it and stuff, that if it's 40K, you're probably playing it. But y'all obviously both played Space Marine 1 and Space Marine 2. As 40K fans, do you think they did a good job being faithful to the lore, or do you think they took too many liberties? How did you feel about the Space Marine series thus far?
Good. Actually,
they've done
not that bad.
But they've done a really great job.
Well, and also they've actually extended a little bit more onto it as well.
Yes,
like showing it all off. How
the Triton update, I believe. Or
how they treat each other. How there's actual heavy infighting.
Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, but we have someone in the background, a panelist. He's our special little guy, Furious Stan, the furriest Stan you'll ever meet.
What's going on, guys?
Hey.
Yeah, sorry if I have a little fan in the background. It's like fucking 90 degrees over here.
I feel that.
Yeah, it's like summertime right now. It's I've been out all freaking day, back and forth, and I just recently came home just now. I thought I was gonna stay all day doing a job, but I only worked for 2 hours at the time, maybe 40 minutes, and whatever. It's just too hot to deal with.
Well, I'm glad you're here, Dan.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I'm glad I'm here too, man. I'm glad I'm here too.
Nerd will definitely feel you because he streams from his garage in Texas.
Yep.
There are times where he'd be streaming and he'd be sweating buckets outside. In the stream, you just see his whole shirt would be just like over the time. It would just have that nice little sweat collar around the collar. It would just go down his shirt, and then by the end of his stream, his whole shirt is just soaking wet.
Yeah, I normally be working in my cousin's garage. He actually fixes up cars, and also right now he's actually working on a race car. He's gonna take it to the track and stuff like that. Yeah, he's hooking up an old CRX. Trying to get at least 750 horses on the track. He's gonna make it a full-blown race car with the road gauge and everything.
Let's be short because we're trying to get back to the subject.
I know. You guys talking about 40K Space Marine? Yeah, I got both of them. One is not working on me right now.
So, have you played Space Marine 2?
I have it. I only play for short
How
term.
much do you know about Space Marine? Are you like me, a normie,
Not too
or are you
familiar
like
with it.
Dash, Val, and Nerd here, and being like ride or die for 40K?
I'm not too familiar with it. I just got into the
Okay,
series.
and this will be educational, so you could also ask questions to them, so they
Yes.
can give. They're not. This is basically a very. I'm trying like for those who don't know, I'm trying a different angle here, where I give this when we have guests on, which we're gonna have guests for a while because everyone kept asking me, and now I've always wanted to put Nerd on here for 40K. So when Space Marine Creek came on, I was like, Nerd, I need you on here. I need you. And then Val also offered to help out because he's like, he basically reminded me of how much I know about 40K, and which is jack shit. So this would be great. And if I would have known Dash was 40K, had 40K knowledge, I would have been a bit more. I would have been like, okay, we're good. But this. I think this is a really good.
Well, I have very limited 40K knowledge.
You have more than me.
Well, I got my perspective here. I mean to cut you off. What I like about the 40K series, because I played the second one, I never played the first one. Try to play the first one. I like the second one because it kind of does remind me of Gears of War, and also the aliens itself remind me. You ever played the Alien Fireteam video game?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever played the game Aliens? Like aliens. Well, it does have those creatures in there, like a similar.
Oh yeah, the Tyranids are directly inspired by xenomorphs.
Yeah, they were like xenomorphs. They look like xenomorphs in that game.
Why is this happening? Why? What happened? What did I do?
Nothing.
You screwed up.
You just put the
hit the wrong
panel.
There we go.
Okay.
No,
I'm still learning StreamYard, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just the professionals of professionals, but I am trying to present something here.
But yeah, Dan, I'm a Tyranids player. I have back at my parents' house, I have some models that are just taking up cobwebs in a basement.
Oh yeah.
I tried painting a bunch of them. I got like a giant winged one, a hive tyrant. It's got a large ass venom cannon because all their weapons are biological. All their guns are like living.
Dash, all I got to say to you is, I have a flamethrower.
Oh, by the way, guys, I need to be rude.
Give me the heavy flamer.
By the way, guys, nice to meet you, Common Nerd. How you doing, Valkiria Winter? How's it going, Dash Attack? And how you been, Lavistro?
Yeah,
we're doing awesome.
That's what's
glad you can make it. But from what I understand, going back to the subject, from what I understand about you're saying they expanded, which I'm assuming you're talking about the recent update, the Trigun update.
Well, no. So what I'm saying is that the game number 2 connects shows the brotherhood between each Space Marines, the politics.
Oh, the lore. Itself. You're talking about the lore. It was expanded.
Yeah,
the lore.
Like they show quite a lot, and like there's a huge history between. Oh, I can't remember the person's name again. I had it on my head.
History about what?
Oh no. Well, so in the first one, you played as the captain. I can't remember.
Just die.
Can't remember his name now. And then in the second one, you continue on playing with him again. But in between, there's actually quite a lot of lore for him as well. There's like I think there's a couple of books or something that explains what happens between him in between, and also why he's actually in the Death Watch, which is what happens at the beginning at the first part of number 2 as well.
So I got the wrong one here, but I'll just keep this up so people can kind of have some aesthetics while we're discussing.
With updates on the actual game, they have added quite a bit as well, like a couple of guns and that as well for the in the actual universe too.
Where did Nerd go?
I think he had some issues with
internet
sound.
Oh shit!
He's welcome back.
All right, yeah, because the Dragon needs my help for a moment, so hopefully he won't be gone too long. But I'm going to go ahead and let y'all talk more. I want to ask one question for everyone to address in the chat real quick while I'm disappearing, but not disappearing. So, Val, Dash, Dan.
Yes.
Y'all clearly may have allegedly played Space Marine 2.
Mhm.
We all know y'all are gamers. Y'all stream games.
Yes.
Yes.
For Val, which came first? 40K or Space? Oh, there he is. So I can add him in here. Because Nerd also plays video games. Hold on.
Yes.
Which because I gotta go do some parenting duties. So which came first? The games were 40K for Val and Common Nerd. And now Dan and Dash, y'all have already answered this one when we did y'all's interview, but for Val and Nerd, what got y'all into gaming? And then everyone who's played Space Marine 2 guys should be back by this time period. Because I think y'all, like offline, y'all told me your answer. So I'm ready to, this is for the audience. But when I come back, I want to, we'll discuss more about Space Marine 2. I think we did get a good sample for people to get into 40K. If y'all feel like y'all want to add more to it, y'all can. But yes, so which came first? Games for 40K, and like, what was basically what I'm asking was 40K your gateway into drug into video games, or was video games your gateway drug into 40K, or where did the two end up coming together for y'all? And what got y'all into being gamers in 40K? Like, what made y'all gamers and 40K fans?
To me, it's the storyline and the design of the character.
Let Val and Nerd, Dan.
Oh my God.
I'll let Nerd go first.
Right, I'll be right back.
Video games came first for me. I mean, I grew up in the 90s, so I was in like the middle of peak civilization. I had the very first Nintendo. I got it for Christmas one year, and loved the hell out of that, and played a Sega Genesis and had a Game Boy and did all the Pokemon stuff and everything else. So yeah, video games definitely came first. And the funny part is they wouldn't even be a gateway into Warhammer 40K for me, because I'm fascinated by lore, and I love the story of Warhammer 40K and finding out about the history of all the different factions and all of that kind of stuff, learning about the different characters and their interactions and all of that kind of stuff. So it's one of them situations where I've always been a gamer. I took a break for a little while, but other than that, I've pretty much always played video games my entire life since I was a kid, and I've loved all of that stuff. And who says playing video games wouldn't get you anywhere? But yeah, and then Warhammer 40K. I mean, I absolutely love it. And I this is what I told the Lavistro, and I'll tell it to anybody out there in the chat too. Start with the Caiaphas Cain novels. Just pick one and read one of those. It's a great introduction into the universe of Warhammer 40K without having to go like balls deep into
allergies. I hate it.
Thank you. Oh yeah, absolutely. And we had a cold front blow in last night, which thank God for that. But of course,
that's why I took this shit
and all the rest of exactly, all the rest of that bullshit. But yeah, so like it's one of them things. Like I'm fascinated by the lore. It's a setting that kind of takes a little bit from everything. And they flat out admit this. They've ripped off the original creators ripped off of pretty much everything. You know, there's a little bit of Tolkien in there. There's a little bit of Star Wars in there. You know, it's one of those places where you can literally find anything. If there's something in the world, like if you're a fan of big stompy robots, or if you're a fan of like Japanese anime kind of stuff, you know, there's big stompy robots you can play as, or there's an actual little alien race that they run around in like mech suits and stuff, you know, or you know, yeah. Oh yeah. And if you like nuns with guns, the Sisters of Battle, big old tits with guns and power armor. Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah. So that stuff's great. So yeah, there's a lot of different things that I love about Warhammer, and there's a lot of different reasons. And one of the nice parts is it does seem to be one of the places, with the few exceptions, that they actually Games Workshop really does have to go where their audience wants them to go. Because if their money is in selling models, right? That's what they make the money on. And if those models don't sell, then they'll stop producing it. They won't write books about it. Like all kinds of stuff happens down the line once that finally hits the road. So I wouldn't say they're completely resistant to the mind virus, like the spirit of the age, because there are some aspects of that. But they're a lot more resilient and have been a lot more resistant to it than other beloved IPs out there. And also the whole I think the Henry Cavill thing is really what got me into it, because I was like, okay, he's going to have all the keys to the kingdom. It's all going to be him. He'll be able to control everything. And so I'm like, okay, this is something I can actually invest my time in, because I know he's going to take care of it and he's not going to let them screw it up. You know what I mean? And so
that question, it wasn't on my list, but I'm going to ask it anyways. Do y'all believe Henry Cavill is an actual 40K fan?
Oh, I absolutely.
Yeah,
I think so. I think so.
Yeah. There's so many interviews with him geeking out over it. Like he paints models on his Instagram. So yeah, no.
Yeah, rumors is that like he left The Witcher not because like of a pay disputes. He just hated like what they were doing to the lore.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
I read the books. He played the games.
He was playing the game on set.
And the thing is, he did build that computer on set. But what I like about it is I like it when a fan is a fan of a video game franchise, end up becoming an actor of the show. It's better for that, because at least that person that's gonna be an actor on that show knows what the game is about.
It's kind of like
storyline.
And
it's
a
like
real fan, also not like there's not like a Kevin Smith type of thing.
Yeah, they compare to having just a random person they hire.
He has so many.
The Wikipedia fans.
Wikipedia.
This is a perfect example where I say I'll mention things on topic when it's relevant. But going to the JDA, I don't want to talk about too much. I'm just.
And then I don't want to talk about.
Oh no, we don't have to talk about him.
No, but don't talk about him.
No, I'm just pointing it out. There are people out there that grit into the space because they want the clout, they want the fandom, they want the attention. So they'll study everything, just not because of the love of the game, or in this case, the love of 40K. They'll grit of it for the attention. They know it has a very strong platform. We've seen this with Gamergate. We've seen this with Goonergate. We've seen this with Gamergate 2. And people just come into our spaces, right? Or in this case, your spaces, because I'm not a 40K fan. I don't want to claim it as my space yet. I'm pretty sure I'm going to love it I'm already loving the book. I'm really loving Caiaphas. But
Caiaphas is fucking good. He's an incredible character.
It's really good. Really, and I'm trying not to. But anyways, there's people out there that'll say this. Do y'all feel like what I'm asking is, do y'all feel like he's a genuine fan? And I'll agree. Like it to segue out of segue, fun fact. The actor who played Starkiller, he had to do a casting call, and he had to imitate doing the crystal meditation, right, for the scene in The Force Unleashed. And they asked him why he was grimacing and all that stuff. He's like, well, you got to remember, he was trained by Darth Vader, so he is trying to force his will onto that crystal, and that's how he got the job. And I think he did a really good job as Starkiller. Like
he's a great actor.
Oh yeah, he even got cast as Maul in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, he was I believe him when he says he's a Star Wars fan, as opposed to people say, "Oh, I've always loved Star Wars." We know we can always talk about celebrities.
You can tell
you can
like,
see
who's
through the
a
drift.
real fan of Star Wars and who's just a Disney shill.
Yeah, but relating that to the conversation, right? What makes a 40K fan such as yourselves believe that Henry Cavill is one of you?
Well, I think it's mainly because not only modeling, color schemes, and all that sort of stuff, which, if you're making your own, making chapters and stuff, you kind of need to know the color schemes of each battle group and all that sort of stuff. Plus, also the way he talks is about it. Like, again, you need to know some of the lore and all that sort of stuff to understand. Like, a lot of the stuff is not in Wiki at all. There's a lot of it in books that you probably have to read, and majority of them are like 5 novels. Like there's a lot of books between them all, and that's not all going to be. Again, that's not going to be in Wiki. All of that. So you're going to actually need to know all this lore from the books, codexes, and everything as well.
Oh, I was going to ask you guys a question. What is the situation with the them adding a female space marine?
Oh, there is.
Hold on.
It's not a space marine.
Whoa. We'll get to that question later.
Yeah, that's why I want to ask, because everybody, I'm hearing that all over the internet.
That question. It's one of the questions I want to lead into later, because we're getting into the Space Marine 3 topic.
Oh, okay.
But Yeah, I'll let you ask that question, Dan. I will let you, instead of me asking, I'll let you ask it since you want to bring it up.
No, I just wanted to ask what's the situation.
Well, that's not a space marine.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a whole.
That's a whole.
Literally telling me there's a whole.
Yeah, so that what you're referencing is the guardians of the Emperor himself.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah,
they're the ones. Yeah, the Custodians, which has a whole lot of lore to them again, which they're actually even powerful than Space Marines themselves.
Okay.
Too. But honestly, I think it's a piece of shit. Sorry.
Yeah.
But
I think so too.
It's fucking stupid.
Because you got the Silent Sisters, who are literally the same, but they just can't talk. Like, because they have a valve and all that sort of stuff that they do. Again, then you got this, as I mentioned, the Domi Mummies, the Sisters of Battle, nuns with guns.
Mummies.
Nuns with guns.
They are guns.
So because you got that, they're short, and that they're not the same as the Space Marine, but they still have a heck of a lot of kick to them. They got a whole lot of lore. Plus, they got the Saints. Yep. And you don't want to piss off a Saint.
Saint Celestine. Oh, no, Saint Celestine. Holy cow.
Okay, real quick, because I do want to address the chat's question here, but before we do, I want to wrap up the Henry Cavill, a nice little bow. So y'all obviously believe he's one of y'all, the way he speaks, the way he shows his Instagram.
Yeah.
Like y'all literally say, okay, he's one of us.
Yeah,
he nerds
awesome.
out. So like, I already know Cavill's a nerd, but I wanted to point that out there because it's an unspoken question that I like to just mention. But when y'all heard he was doing, because I want to go back to what I want to bring it back to Nerd's original conversation. When y'all heard he was doing 40K. This TV series. What was your initial reaction? Was it, oh, please be good, please don't fuck it up, or was it like, fuck yeah? What was? How excited were y'all when y'all heard that?
For me, I was still worried because it's still under Amazon. Like, yes, he would try and keep it as it is, but how Amazon is, it's still a 50-50 for me. Like, it can go really well, but also I'm still dreaded it could not.
I was super stoked when I heard he was involved because of the way that the deal got worked out, because he has complete and total creative control and he's an executive producer as well as a star for the entire system. So that I was super excited. I'm always trying to be like just cautiously optimistic, but knowing that he had total control, because that's one of the things he worked out. He fired his old agent. They got him the Witcher job and then hired a new agent and then knocked her up, which is great. There's a Henry Cavill baby out there. But so that's why I was excited about it. And the nice part is now that Jennifer Salke has been fired, I think we've got a lot better chance of it being really, really good.
Head of Amazon Television, right?
Yes, she was the one that ruined Wheel of Time and Halo.
And Rings of Power.
Yeah, she ruined a lot. He ruined a lot of series though.
Like I think I told you this, nerd, in a Rumble rant back in the day. That's like this is before Lavistro became Lavistro, the Dragon service. This is before I started streaming. There's some Lavistro lore, but I remember telling you, it's like I'm beginning to think there's some science to this that you probably shouldn't have a female executive, because every time you have a female executive in media, they ruin shit.
It's just the types of females they're putting in. They're putting Karens and normie likes who only people who live on Instagram and Twitter as their executive.
No, you're right. You're right.
Blunt, but it was also done with Amazon as well. No. I don't know if anybody said Halo, but no, Halo was all Paramount Plus.
And Halo is. Yeah, I mean, look at Kurtzman Trek. Okay, you already know who has been controlling Paramount for the last few years.
Yeah, let's not bring up Halo. I don't want to discuss about
that. Like I say, I'm a huge fan of Halo, but the thing is that the way with the storyline with Halo was not supposed to have his helmet off. Supposed to keep it on. That's the only thing I got to say. They fucked it up with that.
It's not that. The minute that they said that it's not in the actual universe of Halo itself, then it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
It's still longer relevant.
Yeah.
They said that after to cover their ass is what that was.
Now, I do want to so obviously y'all are super excited about Henry Cavill coming in and running the show. Y'all think it's going to be
I do. I think it's going to be good. He's still neutral.
As long as they don't go overboard, like say, just bring everything into it. Like if they choose one of the, I think there was one of my brother actually brought it up with one of the Good Inquisitor books that just focus on him doing his like work, just looking through chaos.
Yeah, Eisenhorn.
Heresy. Yeah, if they focus something like that, where it shows little bits of the actual history and that, then it will go well. Because remember, normies are going to have no idea what the hell is happening. So if you have something simple at the beginning, and then down the line start bringing in everything else, and that, then yes, it will be bloody good. Like I would love that. But if they just bring in Space Marines, Orcs, Chaos, and everything, it's gonna just fall apart straight away.
Too much. Yeah, it'll overwhelm everybody. Yeah, Eisenhorn is another great series. I haven't got a chance to read them yet. They're on my list. But yeah, because the nice part about with Eisenhorn and being an Inquisitor and all that kind of stuff is you can almost do like a procedural with it. You know what I mean? Which is really palatable for a lot of the normies. He's got X Chaos agents to deal with, this episode, and next episode it's, a Xenos incursion or something like that. Like you could literally go through all of that, and that would be a great way to do it. Yeah. Or they could create something completely and totally new.
All right. So that being said, I want to address the chat because I like when the chat asks questions because it helps them, feel like they're involved in the panel. But UA Fomega says, I'm only slightly familiar with 40K lore. I saw a post of someone suggesting the Emperor's rebirth will be part of some new lore. Is that actually something?
So that's something that's been rumored for a very long time. There are certain books, there are certain things in the lore that hint towards something like that might happen in the future. But that's something that it's been speculated about for a long time, but nothing has been confirmed. It's all rumor at this point. But essentially the idea is that, either you kill the Emperor because he's perpetual and that'll actually give him the ability to fully revive his body, but then at the exact same time you blind the entire universe, or he just somehow ascends in the warp as a chaos god. Because the thing about it is we know the Emperor has powers outside of his body. That's why they have the Saints with the Sisters of Battle, because that is literally the God Emperor putting his power onto them. And he's actually done miracles where he would come in and he took over Gilliman's body and came in there and just laced it to some freaking chaos guys. So
also the way he made Primarchs as well has actually taken some powers from the actual warp itself.
That's the theory
to make him. Well, and I didn't actually like it how they've actually started to explain the Emperor and all them sort of stuff. I'd rather if he kept as a mystery and all that sort of stuff, because I always thought he was an old one, just the way he was. But then they decided to retcon everything. Like, so, this is how the Emperor came. They got these special people.
Well.
And
my understanding is my understanding is the only backstory we actually have for him is from some lore in the late 80s or something like that. That's like the only time that story was ever published.
I think they've added more. They've actually added recently, there's these group of beings on Earth who are meant to be like some guardians, immortal people.
Yeah, it was the shamans.
Yeah, and that's how now, and then they've expanded on that. Also, they brought in the fact that they got some other female who helped him, who's now in a
the Space Marine's mother. Yeah,
and all this that's what I mean. Like they should have just made it like a mystery sort of thing, because that just adds
it that way.
Yeah, because if you keep things like a mystery, like so people don't understand, you would have people like Reddit and all that would just be bringing up all these theories and. Which makes
it's literally like YouTube.
Yeah.
But it builds the fan community.
Exactly. This long, but I saw someone in the chat. I do want to point out. Hello, St. Hugo. For those who don't know, St. Hugo is making the Hypnotic game, and he's going to be a special guest next week. And from what I understand, we're going to be talking about indie games because I'm also a game dev as well, or former game dev. I'm now streaming. But we're going to talk about indie game, like, behind the scenes, like what's it like being an indie game developer, and hopefully have a sneak peek at the Hypnotic game that's coming out based on Hypnotic himself. I did get to see something. I promised him I'd blur it out in the background so that way he can share what he's comfortably able to share. So shout out to Hugo, and if you want to see other games being made by people in our community, next Saturday's a good stream to join in. But so I want to start getting into Space Marine 3.
Oof.
And before we do that, I was going to ask this question, but I promised Dan, since he was going to ask it. Dan, why don't you go ahead and ask that question so we can actually have a real solid definition of the topic from actual 40K fans.
He looks confused.
Dan.
He's our special little guy.
Oh, sorry about that. All right, can you ask that question again? Because I wasn't paying attention.
I was asked. You wanted to ask that female Space Marine question. I was going to ask you, but
Yeah, I mean, what I was trying to say before, what's up with that? Because it's been all over the internet about a misogyny with the females having a female Space Marine in there, and I'm just totally confused about it because most of the Space Marines characters in there are all males, and
yes. Why are they all males? Why can't there be a female? Why can't we have a female
Because it wouldn't work.
I guess because
science
says
says no.
I guess because of the equality or something shit like that, or
no, I'm going to let
No,
the
no,
40K
no.
fans. I'm going to let the 40K fans.
let the 40K
Okay,
fan
explain.
explain because I'm not.
So, like I said, one, she's not a Space Marine. Okay, there's no, because the minute that they put an actual female Space Marine, I think they would probably explode completely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'd rather.
Now, what they did was, you got to actually also remember there are actually some writers in the Games Workshop that are, I guess, brackets left winging, if you really want to put it. So they are putting their type of things, their ideas into it. So having this individual who's actually a custodian, which again, not a Space Marine, is probably, a lot of people hated it completely because there's a whole lot of law with it which says that they can't have a female into that position. One, because law says and science says a female would not be able to actually go through the process anyway, because again, custodians are better than a Space Marine itself, so they have been more genetically engineered to be stronger, more powerful, because hell, they're guarding the Emperor himself, and you need the top dogs. Okay, you can't just have you, Dan, as a guard. No offense, as a guard as the Emperor, because you wouldn't be able to handle it. You'll get like your ass kicked in like milliseconds.
Oh, okay.
So
that was the question I wanted to ask. What was all about?
yeah, so it is.
Yeah, so they,
Literally, it was just the writer who wanted to put in some politics and give, I don't know, me personally, is probably more of a finger to us.
Yeah,
who
on the chest.
it.
yeah, and it was only in the Warhammer 40K like animated series that's on Games Workshop's own website. It's like their own private streaming service. And so but everybody found out about it. The other thing is they've never made a model. But now, and we haven't seen a new Custodes Codex as to whether or not they've actually added them in or not. That's all we've gotten so far. And the worst part about it is it's the way Games Workshop handled it, right? Because instead of coming up with like a clever way of going, hey, we write a novel where they found an abandoned tomb full of stasis chambers, and all of a sudden we've got a squad of female Custodes that the Emperor made 10,000 years ago, and everybody forgot where they were. Like something like that, I would have been way more palatable than they've always been here.
Yeah,
and that's literally what their Twitter account told everybody was. Since the very founding of them, there's been female Custodes, and we're like, oh, really? Show us this 40 years of fucking lore that says otherwise, because it's always been the sons of nobles. It's a brotherhood, all of that kind of stuff. There was no reference anywhere in the past of Warhammer 40K.
You know what?
And them just their social
Oh,
media
let 'em
person
rant,
just
let
to
'em cook,
blow
let
everybody
'em
the
cook.
fuck off. It was ridiculous. So fuck that person and fuck all of that.
Yeah, because
But yeah.
the whole entire thing was, like you said, and actually in Road Trader,
I
when the
like
Road
it
Trader
when
first
you
It
came
nerd
out.
kind of
rants.
reminds me of when
It was in
Diablo
there.
2 Remaster was trying to
That was a dope
justify
rant.
the face of the Amazon. She's been through hell. Like, that's why her face looks like shit.
Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and the thing is that I like it because you know what it is. I was listening about the story about the Brotherhood. Yeah, it is the Brotherhood. Yeah, that's what I really why Space Marine caught my attention with the Brotherhood. I was looking forward to that answer too.
Well,
That he said Brotherhood was like, holy shit, that is true.
we just lost,
Definitely.
Yeah, with dragons down. That's okay. But
Uh,
yeah,
looks
that's
like
that's
you'll
what
see
got
that
me.
a lot. You'll see that a lot during if you read any of the books about Space Marines or listen to any of the audio novels or anything like that's you will see.
I gotta start
lot
listening
of
to that, man. I mostly
Well, yeah.
played the game, but I gotta get into it.
Especially if you read books about the Space Wolves and that, because they're so heavily in their Brotherhood, and they even got more. They're actually even more law with some other Space Marines because they actually even have strife with the Inquisitors as well.
Yeah.
Like they hate the fuck out of them, like because of what happened. So hence, like if you play Road Trader, there's actually they actually hint that and show that in the actual game itself.
Yes.
Which is even funnier, like especially when you're listening to
it's
them all.
So it sounds like when you talk about it overall in the big overarching era, it sounds like everybody's just like against everything else. No, there's all kinds of infighting as well. Like there's all these factions vying for power, and so people are always getting into it with each other.
And you also beforehand as well, like as I was mentioning, like the Lion and the Wolf. Now the Lion and the Wolf, which is the two primarchs of the Dark Angels and the Space Marines. And the Space Wolves. They actually had their own infighting with each other as well. They're not. They actually fought with each other and all that sort of stuff. So, but what I actually liked, but they did retcon this, unfortunately. They actually had a part where in the old space.
We're gonna have to speed this up because I do believe you said that 7 you gotta leave. Or can you stay a little later?
Who? No, I can stay a little later. I moved my show back till 8.
Okay.
So I got a little time.
Definitely want to speed this up.
Yeah, sorry.
No, so it's okay. I love hearing y'all talk about it. It's awesome. I just know that like when I scheduled Nerd, I didn't realize he was switching his shows around and then on Prime TV.
We got time.
Yeah, I know. I just want to make sure.
He's just excited about the 40K Space Marine. That's
no.
That's why he wants
That's
to hear
awesome. That's what DragonCast is about. It's to get
like,
that nostalgia of.
But the rant is dope, though. That rant.
I want to ask. Okay, so an actual Star Wars fan is always going to be fond of Star Wars games. So when Coder comes out, we were like geeking out, like a fangirl, all this stuff. But for a 40K fan, you had Space Marine, you had Space Marine 2, and then this is 2 months old, obviously, but I'm covering it now. I've been trying to do this for a while. It's just, it's been crazy for everybody. But what was y'all's initial reaction when this happened? Did y'all go sploosh, or was it please be good?
Oh no, I'm. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say I just thought it was a little bit too early for them to actually say, "Hey, we're going to get Space Marine 3," even though they're still working on Space Marine 2, technically cleaning up all the bugs and stuff. So it's like, I understand that like the sales for Space Marine 2 went up like massively because it's a bloody good game. It really is. It's good to have all your mates with you as well, especially with if you're stuck on like a mission or something like that. You're gonna just get one of your mates to help you, and there you go. The actual
single player game.
Yeah, like the single player game is good, but also so's the co-op part as well. Like off just doing random missions. Like you not being the main person, you're just like some Space Marine that's just fucking shit up. It's still
you're the heavy gunner.
Yeah, which is still good. Like you could do that by yourself, but the AI is not always that perfect. But it's way better with your mates as well.
Absolutely.
And the thing is that is it the same company that's making the game Saber?
Yeah.
Interactive.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
perfect.
Yeah.
Because they really got based.
Well, yeah,
They
no,
really
no,
are. They really are based. They wasn't playing the last time they did Space Marine 2. They was talking about they got rid of, like they said they wanted to make the games for everyone, like to enjoy, like something. They got rid of something with the politics. I think the CEO
It gets
was
better than that. I covered it on a video, but the co-CEO of Saber, I forget his name, and he is accused of being right wing. I'm staying out of that conversation. But
I know. I'm just saying though, like
he
is
donated.
actually,
I forget, was it 3 million? I covered it in a video, but he
Mhm.
donated an extensive amount of money that beat Sony's donation. So, like one person
Mhm.
donated so much money to the University of Texas, Austin. I believe it was Austin. It was in Texas. Donated to the University of Texas for a curriculum on game design, focused solely on game design.
just the games.
That it made the senior editor of the game developer have a meltdown and literally do poor grammar and ranting and misspelling. That when I was reading it while covering the video, I ranted at his poor grammar and misspelling. That guy is literally like, I was like, you know what? I'm just leaving in here. I don't care. I was falling behind on videos for, things that were happening offline, not IRL, but, still Lavistro and Dragon of Cyberspace related and Bigot Burst related. It's not nothing bad. It's just things were happening that I had to work with that I couldn't cover videos for a while. And then now I can. And this happened. So I was like, I'm just going to leave it in here because I already know there's some people that like me just for the fact I ranted that they put in a fucking fanfic, fucking fandom thing from back in the early 2000s for a Star Wars tabletop game because he said it would be cool. It was his rules of cool for that his game master actually allowed was that turn on the lightsaber. They added that to Star Wars Jedi Outsider that I ranted and raved on. And then when they had that black chick beat up Darth Vader before she dies, that leave Darth Vader actually limping off. I read on that as well.
I didn't get that far in Survivor.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you watch my streams. Like there are people that love it when I rant. I don't rant often. I have to hold myself back. But
you just spoiled Jedi Survivor to me,
dude. The game's years old.
I'm still playing it. I've had to put it down for other games.
I keep playing it, but anyways, I forget where I was going with that. But anyways, how did y'all feel about Saber after making Space Marine 3? Do y'all think they did a good job with Space Marine 2? And do y'all think that they're going to do the same with 3?
Oh, I already said my piece at the moment with that one, so it's definitely Ned's turn.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's definitely a little too soon. They should have. I mean, you could have with enough game passes and updates and stuff like that. Like you could have had Space Marine 2 going for a very long time, but this is Games Workshop and they want money. So yeah, that's what they're gonna do. And that's what they're gonna tell them to do. And fortunately enough, it is at least the same company. So what I'm hoping is that one of the things that they kind of fix in the next game is the repetitiveness of the missions, because that is the one complaint I've really got about that game is like every level you go through, the missions are like the same thing, just with like a different skin on them. And sometimes not even a different skin on them. So it's like that's one of the things I'd like to see them fix. So hopefully they've listened to that kind of criticism and we'll get a good Space Marine 3. But yeah, they should have. You could have made Space Marine 2 last for quite a while with season passes and more updates.
Oh hell yeah!
Nope, that's not Games Workshop for you.
Well, yeah, because like the next patch they're bringing in like the look for the Blood Angels and stuff like that, and then they're bringing in Horde mode, which is going to be fucking awesome. I reckon that would be like a lot of fun, especially when they say that it's not going to be Chaos, which we had in the first one. It's going to have Tyranid as well. Tyranid. Sorry, Dash. I hate the living crap out of them. I just want to beat them with my flamethrower all the time.
Space bugs.
Yeah,
space bugs.
But it's good that the Horde mode's going to have both. But I do wish that they would actually have other chaos that we can kill other than the same stupid Lord of Change ones.
Yeah, I'm having a brain fart right now too.
Yeah, like Slanesh would be. Yeah, Slanesh would be fun to have. Even even Corn would be even more fun, like all the berserk, like all their berserkers and all them.
Didn't we have Corn in the first Space Marine? No. Slanesh is the Prince of Pleasure.
Yeah, the pleasure. It's all pink and purple, like Lavistro.
Yeah, and
full
very
disclosure, and Warhammer actual Warhammer. I am the Prince of Pleasure. So yes, he's based off of me.
You wish.
Yeah, I am the Dragon Lord of Winter cyberspace.
But you're not.
I was not. I did not claim that title. My fans and audience has christened me that title. I was just the Dragon of Cyberspace. No, now I'm the Dragon Lord of Winter cyberspace, and apparently I'm also a witch with tits. So there's that. Anyways,
I've got one of those on my show tonight.
Ooh. Yes,
Serenity Witch, Serenity 2 Witches, Sunker Maiden.
I'm trying to get her on, scheduled up for an interview as well.
There you go.
Yeah. But anyways, I do want to point out, I'm going to branch this out to the next topic. Do y'all believe Saber believes y'all own your copy of Space Marine 3, or did you buy a license? What do you think Saber is going to tell you if you say, this is my copy of the game?
I don't think they would say much. They didn't say anything beforehand. But I don't know. I don't know, really.
But I think they disagreed with that guy, if I remember correctly.
Yes. Well, Ubisoft is still trying to make it a thing, that guy that you're referring to, because if you recall, there is a lawsuit going on right now. This is from the games. I did cover it, right?
Oh, yeah, the crew stuff.
Yes. Ubisoft tells the crew players they never actually own their games. The company says in an ongoing lawsuit concerning the crew shutdown is based on a faulty assumption of the video game ownership. All right. I covered this in a video, but I want to cover this now since we have, more streamers, people can with their inputs. Ubisoft has issued the rebuttal to a pair of players who are attempting to sue the French publisher for shutting down multiplayer racer The Crew. Last year, 2 players in California filed a lawsuit against the company for permanently shutting down the title, claiming they and thousands of others have been left with a skeleton of what you thought you paid for. They essentially argued The Crew should have been left in a playable offline state rather than being delisted and taken offline. Ubisoft claimed it was necessary to wind down the 2014 release because of server infrastructure and licensing history, but noted it had maintained support for almost a decade. I'm going to skip through here, but they put out here in the lawsuit. Turns out, imagine you buy a pinball machine, and years later you enter your dead to go play it and discover that all the paddles are missing, the pinballs and bumpers are gone, and a monitor that proudly displayed your unassailable high scores removed. Turns out the pinball machine manufacturer decided to come into your home, gut the insides of the pinball machine, and remove your ability to play the game that you bought and thought you owned. In response to February, Ubisoft suggested that the argument that The Crew would remain playable indefinitely is misleading and claims it was explicitly selling temporary access to a product rather than outright ownership. And I'm going to skip down here because I forgot what it is. But remember they said temporary ownership. The plaintiffs has since responded to Ubisoft's arguments with a photograph of the Crew's packaging, which notes the activation kit code for the title won't expire until 2099. They claim it's an example of Ubisoft indicating the Crew would be remain playable during this time and long thereafter. All right.
2099 I'll be like freaking 100 years old.
So clearly they're going to lose this case. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, are you talking about Ubisoft losing the case? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, Ubisoft losing the case.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a good possibility that they will, because the problem is like, even this is another thing too, is they filed this lawsuit in California, and California did like a law about this whole nonsense, and that's why Steam and a lot of the rest of these companies have now changed their terms and service that you are indeed just buying a license and all of that kind of stuff. That's why you've got groups like Good Old Gamers. Yeah, they literally had to. And
it's bad news.
There's a good possibility of that.
Yeah, so if you buy the game,
Amazon Prime and like not just for video games, but like Amazon and people you buy any digital form of digital content, they had to change that.
Yep.
I think GOG is the only one that says, "Oh no, you bought it, you own it."
Yeah,
But,
That's true, because if you buy something, even if you spend $80 to $90, it's still your game. Even if it's digital or physical, it's still your game. You're the owner of that game. It's your game.
This is why when I stream a new game, I always read EULA, because while I'm wanting to play a game and I'm going to play it regardless, I still read it because I, number one, grew up with reading everything before I sign.
Mhm.
And two, you never know, but this could happen.
Are you saying you want out? Fine, you don't want to be part of this, then just sign right here. No, you didn't read it! This says we don't ever have to let you out and then we can do whatever we want! Damn it, why won't it read?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm bringing that up is because this is a terms of service for Oblivion to remaster. Now, this is literally Bethesda doing a cut and paste from Fallout 76. But if you scroll down, all the way down this jargon and legal jargon, right? You scroll all the way down to, there it is, limits and restrictions. Certain features of the game are a service offered by and may only be downloaded online, right? You're responsible for all this stuff, right? But they say you're not allowed to, you agree that you will not, and you will not assist any person under any circumstances to, in whole or part, distribute, publicly perform, display, sell, transmit, publish, edit, reproduce, license, rent, lease on, or otherwise transfer the game content. Also modify that, which we all know Bethesda Games has modifiers. I mentioned this real quick, but these are like use cheats, mods, and stuff, right? And it's
for Oblivion Remaster.
Yeah, I read it online. They tell you you're not allowed to mod your game, which is going to hurt Bethesda. But if you scroll down to section 4, ownership of the game, ZeniMax and its licensors are and will continue to be the owners of all rights, titles, and interests into and the game and service, including without limitation all intellectual property rights, moral rights, and that's the thing I find interesting: moral rights in and to the game and all copies thereof, without limitation, any title, software, programs, and code, game-related themes, characters, names, character likeness, dialogues. Basically, you will not take any action inconsistent. So basically, you can't sue them if they take your game offline. So they do what the Driven did, or Ubisoft did to Driven.
So hold up a second. So if I already bought the game, even though like, for example, right now I have like I said, the Friday the 13th video game. Mm-hmm. It's in my list. It's in my library. Mm-hmm. So since the game is not in the store anymore, and I already bought the game, if they take the game out of my library, can they take the game out of my library, or can I still keep it because it's still in there? But the challenge is, I don't know if I'm going to lose it or not.
Ooh, what happened to it? Someone said something based and that's gone. What happened to it?
No, I still got the game.
No, I'm sorry. Someone said more people should be talking about this. I tried to highlight it. It just disappeared.
Oh, sorry about that.
I hope no one deleted that. That was based.
That was
Philip's tweet. I see it in the log.
Okay. I can't see the highlight anymore. But yeah, there it is right there. Yes. But yes, to answer your question, Dan, yes, you just agreed that they can do that.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So, Dan, Val was beating on you a lot, but I like to teach you too. And he also knows my favorite clip. This is why, Dan, you read the terms of service so you don't get your mouth sewn to someone's ass and someone else's mouth sewn to your ass. Are you saying you
want out? Fine, you don't want to be part of this? Then just sign right here. No, you didn't read it! This says we don't ever have to let you out and then we can do whatever we want! Damn it, why won't it read?
Yeah. That's why, because I own the game, but if they take it out of my library, like I say, I'm going to make a complaint about it. If I could make a complaint about it, because remember, I bought the game, I spent money on that game.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and like you're basically like every consumer or customer is the actual term. People got me used to started getting me to say consumer now. I'm trying to get back to saying customer. You're the customer. And this is like I said with the goose with the golden eggs. We give the farmer a golden egg for the care and food, everything that we get from them, right? in exchange for giving him a golden egg. And then one day the farmer gets greedy and he says, I can get all the golden eggs at once. And he cuts the goose open and realizes there's no golden eggs inside. The corporation just wants your money. They'll do anything for your money, but they want to keep what they have too. So it's basically theft.
Yes.
And the fact that they did this for years, knowing that you will not read the terms of service. And then for those who do read it, they intimidate you with all this lawyer speak. They're trying to cover their ass because what happens is, I don't know. They make Fallout 76, right? And Fallout 76 is an MMO, and they take it down. What do you think the Fallout 76 fans are going to do?
Yeah, catch a fit and end up making a complaint.
They're going to have to.
A small amount of them will probably be upset.
Yep,
But
of course.
everyone else will be like, okay, cool, we don't care because it was a trash game anyway.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll put it in this way because that's probably a poor example.
Yes.
But since at least 3 of us plays this game, that's half the panel here. It'd be like if, I don't know, NetEase decided to remove the First Ascendant.
Yeah,
That's a free-to-play game.
It's a free-to-play game, but let's just say it fits the context. I'm either way I shake it, I still have to point this out, right? I'm trying to relate it to the current conversation. If I bought, let's say I had to buy the First Ascendant or Fallout 76 or something like that, I bought with my money. It means it's mine. I didn't buy a skin that eventually I know they may get rid of, and they may compensate me for that later on because they ran out of server space for it, right? Because they keep putting skins out every freaking season. But they get rid of that, and they get rid of certain things. That's one thing, because like you're going to compensate me for it, right? But here I invested so much time and money into this game. Fallout 76, Driven, Elder Scrolls, whatever. And I can't mod it, which I was able to mod Oblivion, the original Oblivion. I can't fix a bug that Bethesda is known for, right? Because I agreed to this. So if they wanted to, they can come after me for it if I decided to. Hold on.
Either way, I think it would be just crap.
I do apologize. So my son's mom was just called randomly for him. I know it was for him, but I didn't know she was calling today. Anyways, you're now told you don't own your games, and we're from a generation where we owned our games. We could do whatever we wanted with it. So now, instead of it'd be like when those freaking Karens decided to buy all the copies of Mortal Kombat and have a bonfire with it back in the early 90s. The game company didn't care what you did with the product. They got what they wanted from you, money. Here, they want to control everything about it. So I'm asking everyone here on a panel your thoughts about it. How we can, are y'all okay with not owning your games, or do you think this was on us for not reading the terms of service?
It's our fault for not reading the terms of service too, in certain ways too, because most of us, when we buy a game, we just don't read it. We just go and start and play the game. The problem is that if we buy a game, they still own it, even though we bought the game, and that's the way we're seeing it right now. Because even though you pay $80 to $90 for a game or $60 for a special edition, doesn't matter if you get the game or not. I mean, if you get the game, they could do whatever they want with it, because even though you bought the game, it's still not technically yours.
Yes, there's a problem with that. That means that you actually bought a physical copy, though, Dan.
Even if it's a physical copy or not, digital.
No. Yeah, but what I'm saying is that because majority of us gamers, or people who are gaming, would probably buy most of it from Steam, so if you're PC, so you're actually getting it digitally. You're not getting a physical copy. So therefore, during these terms, what Lavistro just brought up is they can just remove it anyway, and you won't have it at all because it's a digital. You don't have a physical. There's two different things in that. You might have a physical, and then yes, you can still keep it, depending if you can play it or not, because you might need Steam, and if they removed it from Steam, then you might have a bit of an issue there. But unless you can actually work a way around it, then it'll be fine. But again, we all have, majority of us have digital copies.
Yes, I'm gonna put this out real
Well,
quick.
it's
I'm
gonna
probably
be
hold
up
on.
to-
Hold on. I'm gonna put this out real quick. Yes, you do have the first part. I do agree. If we don't honor games of piracy, it's stealing. Weird how piracy doesn't ever have this problem at all. Maybe I'm misreading it, but I do not condone piracy at all. If you believe a game is worth having, that includes piracy. You're saying the game has worth. Therefore, if the game has worth, you should go buy it. If you don't think the game has worth, then don't steal it. I'm just going to say that. I'm not saying the ghost, you're saying that. I'm saying for people who may have that feel, because I've actually had people post pirate flags on comments of videos like Ubisoft and stuff. I do not condone piracy. It does nothing. You're not proving a point. All you're doing is giving them an excuse to come after you and say that people want our game so bad they'll even steal it. They don't care how you get it. They're going to say, how can we get money from it? If that makes sense. But yeah, go ahead, Dad.
So, like, this is exactly why people like us YouTubers need to advocate for consumer ownership and physical media, because it is a security to own your games. I think digital and physical are both keys to game preservation and ownership. And that, like, you know, getting rid of one isn't going to be good. You know, digital's never going away. We know that. But like, if physical goes away, like, you know, like that's less power to the
starting
consumer.
to do that with their last console. I don't have the latest Xbox console, but from what I heard, it's only digital now.
The other thing is, I'm wondering with this, you know, saying you won't own it, is a push for Game Pass stuff. Is if they're trying to push you to it more to that.
Well, it would hurt the company more.
Well, Game Pass hurts it anyway. In general,
yeah, it won't hurt Microsoft any. Like, it won't hurt like Microsoft, Steam, you know, EA games. You know, the actual the actual devs, the people that
There's
publish
a reason
the game.
I don't have Game Pass.
Yeah. Now I tell people it's like Game Pass is like Blockbuster. It's like modern day.
It's like renting. That's what it is.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. But that's what that thing they're literally saying is that you buy it, but you don't own it, so you're technically renting. So that's what I'm saying. It's a way for them to push you to be doing Game Pass crap.
In my perspective, it's always good to either have Game Pass because you could try the game to see if you like it. If you don't like it, you don't just uninstall it or play the game ever again.
There's nothing wrong with having Game Pass.
There's nothing wrong with it.
If it's a game that you want to play, but you're not sure, you don't want to fork over. We'll get to it if we have time for it in the topic. Hundreds of dollars for one game. You know, it's a good tool for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then for that point, you don't own the game, you're just renting it. You bought a license.
Yes,
I'm always on the side of, and we covered this last year, but I want to bring it up again with Nerd on as well. Is if I buy a game on Steam before all this fiasco, there's two things I'm going to point out. Why am I paying $79.99 for a game that's digital when a physical also costs $79.99? I should pay less. I'm not buying the disc. I'm not buying the plastic cover. I'm not buying the jacket. None of that. I'm just buying the game itself, a digital copy. So it should be like, I would say $20 less. Just a number, just a random number, right? But I own the game. That's my stance on it. However, corporations want to dictate what you can do with the game, and there are people that are also activists. So it's a win for corporations when they say you don't own your game, because number one, the corporations say, well, technically you modded the game. This is the actual reason why it's bugged and stuff, because when we did the game, it was bugged. And you violated terms of service. And the activist's like, oh, you're trying to get rid of our artistic vision. You're trying to get rid of the female Space Marines off of Space Marine 3. Not saying there is, but I'm just saying as an example. But Nerd, what do you think? Do you think we own our games, or do you think this is something that's troubling?
You're supposed to own your own games, and everybody has understood that from the very beginning. And it's one of them situations where you get you know, at some point there's going to be a little bit of a backlash for this kind of thing, because if they do start yanking games, then that's going to cause an issue. And but like you said, that's also the exact same time, and then people have been pointing out that in the chat as well, like GOG, good old gamers, you know, their whole point is to be the direct opposite of everything else that like Ubisoft and the rest of these major corporations and the WEF want to push you into. Is you'll own nothing and be happy. They want everyone to rent everything forever from them. And it's one of those situations where at some point, something's going to have to change. Something's going to have to give. And I'm about to sneeze again.
Bless you.
Fucking hate allergies.
I know, right? But it's one of them situations where at some point things are going to have to change. But as long as they don't, here's the other thing though, as long as they don't start yanking games, then the system's going to stay the same way. I mean, hell, even Nintendo now, they talked about that specifically, that even if you buy a physical copy of the game, you're going to get a digital code inside. You're not necessarily always going to get an actual cartridge inside inside the box. So you're literally just paying $80 for a box and a code. And yeah, you'd think that. Thank you, Philip. You would think that your digital stuff would be cheaper, but if anything, now they're trying to jack up the prices and all of
And
that.
that's
They're
the
trying to
perfect
push everything to $100.
Nerd, that's a perfect segue right into the next topic. So I before we get into it though, does everyone have this anything else to add to owning your games in this topic? I know we covered it last podcast, but I wanted to cover it with Nerd as well out here. So we had another thoughts on the subject. But does anyone else have anything else to say on game ownership? And
I should say we buy the game digital or physical. I should say we own the game, and that's it. It's our shit. We pay for it. We own it. They can't see us yank it out of the system. That's it. It's our shit.
Yes.
That's all I gotta say.
This is something I will say. You should read your terms of service. 100% read, even if it's all wordy. Just take a few minutes. It's not going to kill you to read the game, especially with Steam's 2-hour return policy. To read it before you play the game. And if you disagree, you can actually send that out there. Say, I want my refund. It's going to show on your account in Steam that I refunded. And you go to the game's review and says, I wanted to play this game. I totally wanted to enjoy it, but I read the terms of service and it says I do not own my copy of my game, so I refunded. I do not want a game I can't own. And it's going to say on the top of your review, refunded this game.
But the question is, too, before you move on to the next topic, the terms of service are different for other companies, or it's just the same for all companies?
This is Bethesda's term. It's a cut.
Also, it's a Bethesda terms of service.
It's Bethesda's terms of service for Oblivion Remastered. Like if you Google EULA, End User License Agreement, EULA Oblivion Remastered, this pops up, and then you can also find in the discussion forums people point out this is a cut and paste of Fallout 76's EULA. Because they mention an anti-cheat software for a single-player game, which makes no sense. Which I said, Bethesda is known for doing this stuff. Not first off, they're known for nickel and diming people because they love money. That's no secret. I'm talking about like if you look at some of the assets, there are some assets that would be cut and paste from previous titles, or like I forget it, Skyrim. I think it was called Skyrim Doodles or something like that. He made some Skyrim videos, Fallout videos. He had a video where he showed made fun of the dragon combat combat stuff, where the dragon would be fire, you dodge it and you come back and attack the dragon with an arrow, and the guy says doing it. And then in Fallout 4 comes out, and you have that was it the Deathclaw, right? Was it Deathclaw? The big giant thing. I think it's something
big
claw.
Lizard thing.
Yeah,
yeah.
And he's the same guy, but he's on Fallout 4. He's like. He jumps out behind a rock, shoots the Deathclaw. The Deathclaw shoots out radioactive acid or whatever. He dodges it, comes back. He's like, wait a minute. It's the same damn thing.
Well, that's really actually Skyrim to Fallout 76, actually, with the Sweet 76, the big giant bat. It has the same. They literally drag the assets from the dragon and then they put it in the bat. That's pretty
Yeah,
much
exactly.
what they did.
But my point is Bethesda's known not just for our game masters, but as a whole, doing that cut and paste. They did tailor. It's like, okay, we're just gonna. The guy, whoever did it, decided. Hold on. It's his mom.
You're good.
Hold on.
You're good.
But each
Hold on.
company has terms of service in different companies. Like Ubisoft got their own, Bethesda got their own, Microsoft got their own. So it's crazy because we don't know if we don't know if you own the game or not from those companies.
Yeah. So
that's
like I think they came in here because I don't think they. I haven't checked. I haven't looked under the hood of Oblivion Remaster, but I don't think it has the anti-cheat software, which would be mind-boggling if they did, because it's a single-player game. But they did say you will not mod the game. And I think they did this mainly to say that for clause 4 ownership of the game. But I also think I think DEG Mods pointed this out last week. There's a good possibility they want you to buy their mods because they've been doing this. This is like the Oblivion horse armor all over again.
Yeah.
But
and Creation Kit that they did, which also started the whole buying our mods, and we're going to have other modders come join us and all that sort of stuff, which caused a big, massive outcry, and they kind of went down and like, okay, we'll be quiet for a while, sort of thing.
Yes, but that brings us into the next topic, which I gotta pull up. This is from so we've all know Nintendo said that the Switch 2 is going to be about $500, give or take, and a game is going to cost about $100 exaggerated a pop. And I'm pretty sure we were all saying that once they do this, oh, that's the wrong one. Sorry. Well, we can cover this. Since they're going to cover since Nintendo's going to do it, everyone else is going to follow, right? And then you have Microsoft having a slight Xbox growth, and then that this is recently a couple days ago was announced, right? I'm not going to read the whole article, but I just want to highlight it that they had an increase in sales, but the next thing that happened, you had PlayStation increasing the price of the PSN network for Canada. And now, going off of what Nerd was pointing out, because I want to have context to what he's saying, because I didn't cover it this week because I had Filmora issues. Where's it at? Here we go. Bounty in the comics, right? Some physical and digital first-party games, $80 this holiday. So, Nerd, go ahead and they're trying to say that it was because of Trump's tariffs.
Yeah, they're trying to blame the tariffs.
But I thought Microsoft and Xbox was a U.S. owned and based company.
Well, it's manufacturing.
It's manufactured overseas.
Manufacturing.
Based.
Yeah. Doesn't matter if it's manufactured overseas. That's where the tariff ends up coming in on things. That's why a lot of people are like some of these companies where they're not sure what they're going to do over the next few months as things go off with these tariffs, because all of their product comes from overseas. So yeah, if it's manufactured over there, it's tariffed. So that's the problem, is they don't manufacture them here in the United States.
Steam? Should it still be $80?
Well, of course not, but they're going to charge you $80 if you'll pay for it. That's the thing about it.
You're going to pay $80 for this game?
Well, I wouldn't, and I don't think anybody outside of like some
who the hell is going to pay $80 for an ugly thing?
Microsoft to do Fable correctly. Fable had so much 2000s humor embedded in it that it's going to be completely absent from the new game.
Yep.
Yes.
Just going to be like Grand Theft Auto 6, though.
That's going to be absent too.
We had from all the others are all gone.
Yeah.
They are.
Would you pay $80 for this game?
For Perfect
Joe Manadork?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Like
It is.
I'd have to know more than just that. But yeah, like this is something they've been wanting to do for quite a while, and the
Mhm.
tariffs are just giving them an excuse to do it. Because I guarantee you, they'll never drop if they do raise these prices to $80 on some of these games. The price will never go back down, even if the tariffs are listed.
Yeah, no, they won't.
All these companies are just using tariffs as an excuse or a smokescreen because, like,
Yeah.
most of these tariffs aren't even set in place yet. It's
Wait, Dash. Are you saying that these game companies care more about money than actually providing a quality service? That they actually don't give a shit about the quality and pay of their employees or making games affordable for their customers? That they actually don't even care about social justice? It's anything as a smokescreen for money?
Pretty much.
Are you? That's
pretty
shocking.
much.
Well, we
That's
already
shocking.
knew. We already
It's
knew
almost
that
yeah.
anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's almost like we've been talking about this for a while.
Like, you got to check out my my new video where I like just talk about just like,
Trust
you
me,
know,
it's
if
in my
this is
watch
the
list for
direction
tonight.
you know, Microsoft is going to go. And keep in mind, they're in last fucking place as far as like brand goes.
Mm-hmm.
And as the console games or the first party manufacturers, like Nintendo, at least like they know they're in a position to charge, to overprice their games because like they're the only ones like you could even get like a decent 3D platformer like in the modern age where Sony just makes all these third person lesbian with a bow game.
Yep. So that's an interesting question. Now there are some good games out there that are not going to cost this much, right? These are major titles, major IPs, major franchises that are going to be selling these games. I do believe in some cases, people are going to have to raise their prices because if they go on a platform like Steam or Xbox, they're going to tell them, no, you're going to have to pay this fee, that fee for using our kit, so you could have your game on our platform. Like Nintendo, like for example, when I was doing freelancing, I think it was with Unity. This was years back. I think it was Unity. I was making something, and they wanted us to have the PlayStation, basically a kit for PlayStation, the client. So I had to pay $1,200 for a kit, just so that it was compatible. Like these games are compatible, but at the same time, there's like certain kits, and you know, there's software kits and stuff that you need to add as well. Situation dependent, right? So there's a good chance that they're gonna have to raise the price a little bit just for the fee, and I can understand that. But I don't think a AA game or an indie game is going to be saying, okay, well, like for example, Power. I don't think Power is going to raise their prices to $70. I could be wrong. I haven't checked the Power prices. I bought the game back when it first came out, but I'm just trying to put something out there. I don't think these lesser known games are going to be $80. And maybe we should be focusing more on those. I'm not saying go play indie, play whatever you want. But if you really are balking, like I'm balking about things, I would only pay $80 for a game I really want. For example, I'm going to be buying Elder Scrolls 6 when it comes out because I'm a huge Elder Scrolls fan. So I probably would buy it. But let's say Space Marine 3 comes out and it's $80. I'm not buying Space Marine 3. But what about you, Val and COmmonNerd? What do y'all think?
I would probably pay. Oh, look, okay. As much as I like the Elder Scrolls, like I've played Oblivion, I've played Skyrim. Like hell, Skyrim I've played for almost like 3,000 hours at least. That's for both. But I'm not buying like Elder Scrolls 6 at all. I would wait. But if they're going to increase the price, even if I was, maybe it depending on how good it is. Like if they actually make it like they have with Oblivion remake. I'm not going to say remaster because it's definitely a remake.
Dragon now.
Then yeah, maybe, or I'll just wait for a sales. But I would probably buy Space Marine 3 instead first.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd probably be my thing. There are certain things, but even then, I'd imagine like, man, I'm a working poor YouTuber. Like, I'm just gonna wait for it to go on sale or somebody else buys it for me. I'll put it on my Steam wish list. I got lots of things on my wish list. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even play Rogue Trader until it was like 40% off on Steam, and somebody bought, and Shadow Warden 99 bought it for me. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah,
I didn't buy Dragon's Dogma when it came out because it was $140, but you had all the freaking microtransactions, bullshit,
I'm like,
quote unquote DLCs. I waited until it was 80% off on a winter sale.
Oh, Common Nerd, quick question.
Sure.
I forgot to congratulate you a few months ago. Did you just had a baby?
Yeah, back in January. Yeah.
God bless you, bro. God bless
Thanks,
you.
buddy.
Congratulations,
He's got
bro.
8 kids.
I wanted to tell you that for quite a while. That's why I didn't want to just talk about. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, no worries.
break the-
But yeah, that you brought up.
But yeah,
for example, a lot of gamers have families. Myself, Common Nerd, like there's a lot that have families that we have mouths to feed. We can't pay $80. We're not just some sweaty 300,000-pound whale living in our mama's basement. We gamers have lives. We're in this. A lot of us we're in the service. We were in the military. A lot of us, you walk down the street, right? So we're in we have kids of our own. We have responsibilities that we have to pay for first before we can pay for $80 game.
There isn't anything. I haven't seen a single game from any of these developers, whether it be AAA or AA or whatever it is, or indie ones, that I just have to have the first day it comes out. I was like that with Space Marine 2. I did. I had it the first day it came out. I live streamed the first day it came out and all that kind of stuff. But there isn't anything. And we watch video game trailers all the time on my morning show, and there is nothing out there. There's not a fucking thing coming on the horizon that I would pay $80 for, or that I just have to have as soon as it comes out. They need to do better.
You better give me you better give me like a special limited edition statue, some collectible skins. I mean, you got to literally like sweeten the deal with goodies for me to pay $80.
Yeah, it's not like a deluxe edition with some like goodies. Like I can see that being $80, but like a base game or even just a digital game, like that's not. Like there's cheaper alternatives. There's older games you could get off Steam that are a lot cheaper. Like that was like the whole premise of today's video is that like, if this is how the game industry wants to play things, then like, we can just catch up on our backlogs.
Well, yeah, I was going to bring that up as well.
Yeah. So many games in my backlog.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Val. You were saying?
Oh, no. I was just saying, that's pretty much what I was going to say as well. Like, even Ghost said as well that he's got, or whoever Ghost is, they got a backlog of games, and majority of us have. We probably have hundreds of games that we haven't played yet or haven't finished that we can go back and wait until a sale comes along to get Elder Scrolls 6 or whatever. Get it off for like 50% off or something like that. But that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah. And here's the thing, because it got brought up. I wasn't really going to bring it in. I had to go look for it real quick. But me and Bo was talking about this. Now everyone knows about the new hotness, right? First you had the Shadow Rise of Oblivion remaster, right? Now I don't know if I'm going to play this game, but it looks fun, and it's usually not my thing. But they did this right. Would you pay $80 for this?
$80.
That is that how much it costs?
I would.
I'm not saying it is. It's
No, there's
out.
no way in hell. That thing's $200, if anything.
Yeah.
If it's $80, I would.
You get a statue, you get skins, you get a collector's book, a journal, art book. You get the whole 9 yards. Like back in the days, 10, 15 years ago, Nerd, with Halo Reach and all that, you get all these goodies in one box. People would literally line up.
I remember when they gave you night vision goggles for
that's for Call of Duty
Warfare 2.
Yep.
I had the Master Chief helmet from one of the collector's editions. I still have it. It's not here at my house. It's at my mom's house. But
Well,
It's
I would say, see, look, I went and bought the special edition for Road Trader, so that was like $300, which came
Yeah.
in with a a statue,
mhm.
a book that had a whole lot of information about actual road traders, the people that's actually in it, and all that. I got a little banner for like an Imperium thing, but also that allowed me actually to play the alpha and the
Mhm.
two betas as well. So you had the alpha, which was like the chapter one. Then they had the beta, which was only chapter one again, but more polished. But then I was allowed to play the second beta, which was all of it, and I could just play that until release. So that was like $300. That gave me all of that, and I was quite happy with that because hell, 140K, of course,
Mhm.
and it was really good in general too. And like I said, it came in with a statue and all this sort of goodies that, as you're showing here, pretty
Yeah.
much.
But this is such. But basically, sweeten the pot, scratch my back, tickle my balls, whatever you want to call it, and you'll fork over the money. Otherwise, don't be selling me shit for $80. Is what I'm saying. Like,
Pretty
I
much.
think we were all in agreement on that, right?
Yes.
And that's but we do have a bit of time. I think I rushed us on a 40K lore bit, but we covered all the topics. I'm getting better at this, guys. I'm getting better at this. We're getting to be
Practice makes
professional
perfect.
streamers.
Yep, that's what
Yes.
happens. Like eventually, it'll just become natural to you.
Yeah,
Like
and
I've been
So I'm
watching
gonna
some of
add-
my
that's what
older
keep-
videos, and like
Mhm.
I sound so much better now.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
it
I
gets
want
it
to
gets better.
ask two questions I didn't ask going back to 40K. All right, I want to ask two questions, and then we're gonna have to shill your shit and share a game we all thought was interesting that we're adding to our wish list or something like that. Like I told you and Val this, but I hope Dan and Dash, I'll have yours ready for screen share. But
Screen share, I don't have anything in
yeah.
common.
Oh,
Screen
yeah.
share.
I'll get something. Don't worry.
I watch somebody else.
Bye. You're fired. Don't ever come back. You're fired. Bye.
He does that on purpose.
Actually, speaking of which, Val, common nerd,
Yo.
which is best? Before we get back into 40K lore stuff, which is best? Sonic the Hedgehog or Mario?
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Can I not
He's cool.
answer this at all?
No, you'd have to answer it.
Oh
It's a definition whether you're a gamer or not.
no, the '90s Game Wars. Sega versus Nintendo.
I've never played them.
Oh,
Well, thanks for coming, Val. Sonic was awesome. I had to do it. But no, back to two questions to ask of y'all. First off, what would you say if someone told you that the 40K fan base is toxic? I'm not talking about like sexist, misogynistic. I'm talking like toxic, like League of Legends toxic. If we all know what I'm talking about there, like you're a new gamer you're a new person coming in there, and they literally turn you off of how they treat you for being such a fucking noob at it. And the second one is 40. It's an obvious question. I mean, it's obvious answer to this, but I've seen this pop up a lot. Is 40K considered grimdark, and what is grimdark? Y'all can answer whatever you want.
I mean, there's one of those situations where I think that all just depends on where you go. I mean, my local Games Workshop store, the guy was a little snooty, but like the online community is cool as shit. I go over and hang out in like the War Games live chat, and dude, like I was asking them all questions and stuff when I was buying things. I'm like, well, would these be useful? Would this be useful? And they were all being real friendly about it and helping me with things, and weren't just telling me to piss off or you should already know this or anything like that. So I think it just depends on where you go. I mean, you're gonna find toxic aspects of any fan base out there. I mean, look at sports fans. Holy God, you want to talk about toxic? I mean? But so you're always gonna find that in any segment. But at the end of the day, it's just you've got to find a good group of people to hang out with and people to do things with. So
I think it would probably be more if you went to like a tournament. If you went to the actual tournaments themselves, they would probably like go, well, you should know this, like, because you're doing tournaments. Like, you have to have your miniatures have to be painted. You can't just walk in there half-ass or anything like that.
Yeah.
They need to be pasted. They can't be 3D printed either. You can't,
I think at the official Games Workshop ones, they can't be 3D printed.
Yeah.
But like, there's plenty of there's 2 tons of other tournaments out. Like I said,
But
the guy
what I
at
mean
Games
is
Live
the
doesn't
Game
ever
Workshop
do it.
one. Yeah, the Game Workshop one. It has to
Yeah.
be this and all that sort of stuff, and you need to know everything. And of course, they're going to probably look down upon you if you don't know jack crap, because again, you're at a tournament, of course.
Right.
But if you're going to like your mate's place, which I did, hell, I used Legos for my orc army with my mates. They didn't care because we're playing the game. It's all fine. Like, I'm pretty sure the same thing if you went to a local one, if they all know you and all that sort of stuff, it's probably, they'll be like, yeah, sure, it's orc, who cares? You can make like whatever you want. I've got like one of the old Land Raiders before like the Crusaders and Land Raiders and all that came along, and I've made that into an orc looter tank sort of thing is like that. So, it depends on, as Nerd said, it depends on where you go. Like, of course, there's like dipships around the place, but majority of the time, they're pretty good. And if anyone says that they're toxic or whatever, that they probably haven't actually been to one.
Yeah, absolutely. On that, what was your second question? I forgot about the rest of that.
The Grim Dark.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, and that's okay. So Warhammer 40K is very grim dark, especially when you think about all of the details of what's going on in that universe in order to keep everything going, right? Like, you got to think about like the massive amounts of hive cities where people die every day. They're ground up and turned into corpse starch, and then you eat it. You know what I mean? In these giant cities. So yeah, but like, not every story is, oh my God, my tortured life that I live, I'm so beat down by the system. Nobody would want to read books like that anyway. So there's plenty of spots where you can find comedy and levity. I mean, that's, I talk about that with the Caiaphas Cain books, is like how funny there's some parts in there. Has a little same thing with Fabius Bile. That motherfucker's got some one-liners in there that tickled me, even though he's a crazy psychopath. You know what I mean? But like, you kind of want to root for the guy. So it's one of those kind of things. It is very much very grim dark, and there are some when you think about like what servitors are, and as far as like, it's basically just a lobotomized human head that they attached wings to and like anti-grav things so it can float around.
Hey, Mark,
like
you
a
put
baby cherub,
or set out hypnosis link on the channel. I just saw the time. Sorry, nerd.
Oh, I don't know.
I do that because some of my viewers are SNH, so I try to keep them. But go ahead.
But yeah, it's absolutely grim dark. It's you read about some things and you're like, holy God, that is disturbing.
Well, that's why they have that thing that says, in the dark future, there is only war.
Yeah,
And 40K pretty much invented grim dark, from what I understand. Like, because the horror phrase like grim dark comes from in the grim dark future.
Yep.
There's only
war. So it's very grimdark.
So I think that's the last of this. Was there any more 40K questions before we get into games I'm excited for? I don't have.
Go play Rogue Trader. If you want to know a lot more info on or lore and that, then Rogue Trader, yes, it's a turn-based. Yes, it's a lot of dialogue and reading and all that sort of stuff. But hell, it has a whole lot of lore in it. It will get, like when it comes to like the Emperor, it would actually have like green or whatever color, so you can highlight, and it would actually tell you about what the Emperor is, what the Imperium is all about, what an Xenois, all that sort of stuff. It has a lot of lore into it. And Owlcat, who made it, did very well. Because Owlcat also did a lot of the Pathfinder games as well. And
they did really good on a Pathfinder game.
They made the game very good. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to play that one. I didn't know they did that.
Yeah,
and it's and make sure you bring a lunch, because like the prologue took me 4 hours. Okay. So like,
I will say that Road Trader is a 50-50 when it comes to if you're going to stream it, because again, it's a lot of reading and stuff like that. Like what I have for it is I actually have a AI mod which does all the it would actually read it all out for me, so I don't have to read. I
Oh,
can just
wow.
listen to it all, do all the dialogue. So there are like some of the characters do talk, but there's a lot of characters that don't talk. So that's where the AI would do it anyway for me, because again, you're almost reading a novel, really.
Oh yeah,
Most of the
there's a
time.
lot to it.
I'm going to point out, because I forgot to do it. Say Hugo, because you're going to be a guest on my show next week. Val, you're not a streamer, and I don't make content for no, but you're a viewer, so I haven't done this, even though you're awesome. And if you wanted to, I'd do it. But Nerd, I wrenched you because you stream. So if you ever stopped by and wanted to say hi and chill your shit while I'm streaming, you're one of the trusted few who get to do that. And I will also be adding you to Cyber Dragon's list, just like I did for your T1000. So whenever you stream, my viewers will see that you're online as well, because I'm trying to.
Appreciate that.
And don't forget to send them a blur so you can turn gay.
Whoa.
The Dry Purple Dragon.
Anyways, so you will before we get into your shit, which you can also point out your stream that's coming up soon when you do so. I want to take this time and say it's time to say what games we are excited for. I will start off because this is a game I keep looking for every day to see if they have an announcement on it. It's from Nexon, and well, it's just gorgeous. Full disclosure, I use Wi-Fi because I don't have a cable outlet in my studio, so I'm giving money for that. But I'm looking forward to this game, Vindictus Defying Fate.
Oh, definitely. I am excited for that game. I don't know when it's coming out, but that's going to be in the next Gooners for Life.
As you can say, it's got jiggles on it.
Yeah, that's going to be in the Gooners for Life.
The characters are beautiful, but the combat looks awesome as well.
Good.
Nice hack and slash.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always down for a good hack and slash.
Hell yeah. Big giant sword. That's what I like. Beating the living shit out of
What I think is like,
titties.
I haven't been able to get much info, but when I heard that you can play as a male or female, I was told there's character customization. I don't know because all I'm seeing is her, right? But it would be kind of cool if they did, because I like games with character customization. The alpha test is coming up, so I'm definitely refreshing.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm literally waiting for this game.
That's a Gooner game, I tell you right now. Mm-hmm. And if it comes out fully, that's going to be the second.
But see, they just came out with news just a couple of days ago, devlog. But it's just stunning visuals. I'm literally trying to make sure I keep see here it says minimum required. This is what pissed me off. So I have a 2060, but Oblivion remastered, I had put at low settings, even though I was at the recommended requirements, and Oblivion was sucking ass because it's Unreal Engine 5. When they changed their core code, we talked about it last week, it fucked with the processing. Unreal Engine always had processing issues, but they were minor. Now it was chugging along for me, and while some people said I didn't have problems, like, you can see I had problems, and some people also reported performance issues. But I'm looking forward to this game, and I plan on streaming it regardless if my fans want me, because I let my fans vote for what games I stream. I have my Discord. Regardless if they want me to or not, I'm going to stream this game when it comes out. But highly recommended. So now I'm going to cover on, but that's something I'm looking forward to. That being said, Dash has got something. Awesome.
Yep, I got something. Yeah, so I've only played the first game, but I haven't been any of the games in this series yet. But there's a new one coming out, Stanks Blades of Greed, stealth game.
Awesome. Tell me more.
Yeah, so From what I understand, these games are really big, kind of like old school Thief and Assassin's Creed. Mm-hmm. So you play as this goblin guy, and you go on adventures and stealth. And this is the third game in the series.
Just you and me.
The first one came out in like 2014, I think. They don't have a lot of gameplay yet, just a cinematic trailer.
Interesting.
But yeah, like you play as
That's
this,
look good though.
Yeah.
yeah, like if you're like starving for like something in the stealth genre.
Yeah. It kind of does. Like I haven't played the Six games. I gotta get into.
Yeah, I'm
them.
gonna plan on like hopefully playing. I don't know. I have so much on my list. I want to get through all of them before this third game comes out at the end of the year.
Just remember, kids.
Yeah. So there's like another example of a good game coming out. Like I'm trying to get into just like I'm trying to get into the lore Warhammer. I'm trying to get into Styx. I have yet to play. I have Space Marine 2, I believe, in my library. I have yet to play it. I'm still trying to get time to play Space Marine 2.
Yeah, I have the game too, Lavistro.
Yeah. But that being said, Dash, did you do your homework? Not Dash, Dan.
Yeah.
Do my homework for what?
Your game you're excited for that we
I'm looking for JDM, which is coming out this month. It's about cars. It's about drifting and stuff like that. So what I'm gonna do, well, I don't have, well, can you type it for me on Steam? Cause on Steam it's called JDM. Can you look for it? JDM. It's a Japanese Japanese master.
You know what? I'm deducting this from your pay.
Japanese drifting master.
This is something that you're supposed to.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how to use the screen. I gotta use my.
You gotta learn. You're a streamer.
Yeah, I freaking know.
I don't want to like throw people under the bus, but you gotta learn. I know you're special.
Give me one second.
You're just up and coming, but you gotta learn. You think Nerd knew what he was doing when he was streaming?
There you go.
Or me? I don't. I just make shit up as I go.
Well, I was lucky. I had like a bunch of people who helped me like get started.
All right. So Dan, what am I looking at here? Other than a car that looks like he's drunk.
So basically the game is about you're drifting all over Japan. You're racing, and you're actually competing with other players. But I love the graphics, the way it looks. So I'm willing to give it a try. I'm willing to give it a try. Because I love racing. I love racing games. I'm quite an enthusiastic type of guy. And I also work on cars with my cousin on the garage. So we deal with cars like this every single time. And I have so much passion for cars that someday I would like to build my own race car and throw it into the racetrack. If I had the money for it, because it's not cheap.
Which is why you're helping your cousin that you were talking about every weekend, right?
Yeah, like I said, I'm a Fast and the Furious fan. I'm always been dedicated with vehicles, and I also have built driving simulators before. If you guys go to my YouTube shorts, I have speedometers. Just actually working with the game itself. It's crazy how I did that with an Arduino, but it's worth it. But to tell the truth, I mean, I think it's based on open world games. I also do have a favorite particular car that would be a Toyota AE86, which I am a fan of the initial D series also as well. I also collected the mangas.
Keep it short, Dan, because you're going off tangent.
Yeah, so I'm looking so forward to it. It's coming out this month right here on May.
Awesome.
And the animation, I think they have some type of animation for this too, like comic animation on it. Because I'm looking at it, if you go to the next video, the comic looks really cool.
All right. Hey, we got to get Nerd running out of here. So Nerd, did you have anybody to share before I show your shit?
Oh, it's just Elden Ring Night Rain. I'm sure probably anybody has played Elden Ring or has probably seen the trailers and stuff like that. I was looking through my wish list. That's the one that I'm excited for. That one looks really fucking cool.
That did look cool, and I know we're all going to be covering it as news develops, so you didn't have to screen share that one. But if you don't mind, John, do you have time? Do you have something you wanted to share? Because Nerd's got it. I just saw the private chat.
He can go if he wants. Like, Like I would only say something like Archage, which is like an MMO sort of thing. But if he needs to go, then
yeah. Well, okay, then we're gonna
do that.
We'll do shill your shit, and then we'll let you do your share, and you shill your shit because we're about to wrap things up. So, Nerd, like I said, you got your sweet little bonus of goodies for coming in here. Thank you again. It's been an honor and a pleasure. You would have told me last year that I would be having you on my show. I'd be looking at you like I have a show. So it was awesome to have you on, and I'm grateful to return the favor of being on your show a while back. And that being said, it's time for Shill Your Shit.
All right. Yes, boys and girls, I'm Jesse the Common Nerd. I review pop culture and all things nerdy through a common sense lens. Come check out my YouTube channel. And if you're over on the Rumble side, come check that out as well. I'm almost at 1,900 subscribers again on my second channel, since this is my new one. So come check that out. I've got a show here in about 30 minutes. Sunker Maiden and I will be reviewing When Who Was Good. So if you guys want to come check that out, come see us. That will be a good time. We have a lot of fun over there. We've got a bunch of dancing Sunker clips and dancing baby clips. It'll be a good time all the way around. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. Bible study, and then Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. we've got the morning prep, and I'll probably try to play some Rogue Trader Sunday night. We'll see how things go, but yes, I appreciate it. It's wonderful, always good to hang out with a bunch of other nerds, and especially be able to geek out about some more Hammer 40K stuff. So Lavistro, appreciate you having me on. For all the rest of you boys, it was an absolute pleasure to meet you, so thanks for having me here.
No problem. You're welcome anytime. And you could post your link to your show coming up so people could choose between Hypnotic or When Who Was Good.
Sure.
Which I've been religiously lurking and watching since I think Sunker told me about it January last year or so. I was watching you before. No, it was Sunker, but I don't think it was January. I've been watching you for a while, back since y'all started season 1. So that was a long time ago. But yeah, I highly recommend it.
We've been doing that show for a long time.
It's kind of like watching a director commentate on while you're watching an episode on Rumble. Great show. You got Grant Gregory. You got some big booba milk jugs to look at. I know Sunker is going to kill me. But I think we can do this for all. But anyways, thanks for coming. And you're always welcome back. You pop in, you want to add your take, you just pop in the chat, and I'll just add you onto the panel because you're awesome. And we bets got to help each other out. That
absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
You have a good night, dude.
All right, I'll catch y'all later. Have a good evening.
Catch you, mate.
Yeah, see you, man.
Bye.
And that being said, because we're wrapping things up, Val, you have a game you want to tell people you're excited for coming out?
Let's see if I can actually work out this present thing. Gotta be careful.
Yeah. Don't worry. You'll learn. Because here's something I suggest. If you think you want to stream, you should totally stream more Space Marine games, like 40K games. And as you're playing a game, literally talk about the lore as it happens so people get more background context to the lore. That would be a totally awesome thing to do if you want to stream games.
I think I'm doing it now.
Yeah, now I'm adding to stage.
There we go.
Oh, I see this. I have it on my wish list too.
Yeah, so as I stated, I play a lot of games. A lot of them are MMOs. Like, I still play WoW. Yes, you can say whatever you want about that, but I would play even Star Wars Knights on the Old Republic. But this game, yes, there's a lot of issues with the older ones, how they've done it, but this one does seem quite interesting. They're going for more of a PvE style than they did with the older versions of their PvP. So it does, and again, like I said, it does look pretty interesting. Combat, I think they're now focusing more of a hack and slash style with a Black Desert Online style as well.
Oh yeah, I love Black Desert Online's visual style.
Well, yeah, that game's
stylized realism.
Yeah, that one's still the top for actual customization for your character as well. Black Desert Online is. So yeah, this game I'm definitely looking forward to. I'm not sure when it's going to be out.
It looks good.
But yeah, I know there's a couple of mates that want to actually play it as well, and yeah, it does look good, but don't know when it's coming out yet. That's all.
Yeah. So in other words, to look forward to and to keep an eye out for. I think that all covers everyone's games coverage. Now, sadly, Nerd had to leave, so he couldn't be here on Final Thoughts. But you could always ask Nerd on his channel when he streams about his thoughts on today's subjects or 40K, or if you see Valkyria Winter running around in my chats for Lavistro Plays or any one of these fine content creators he lurks around and you see him, just say, hey, I want to know more about 40K and could you possibly get to streaming and teach me more about 40K? I guarantee you all of us would help Val out so he could give you the best quality 40K lore content. But that being said, with us covering 40K and drama farming, we'll just call it that, you don't own your games, jacking up the prices and golden gooses. Final thoughts for today's topic to wrap everything up in a nice bow. Starting with, well, Val.
Oh god. That's it. There's a lot of information that you need about 40K. There's a lot of good games. I would always recommend Road Trader and all that sort of stuff. Not owning our games is a piece of crap. Yes, it sucks. And also, the whole jacking up prices for just for the game itself, again, is pathetic. I don't know how you can actually combat that. That's going to be a tough thing. Mm-hmm. And that's about it.
Right. And we'll go with Dash.
All right. So this is Final Thoughts.
Final thoughts before we start doing our outros.
All right. Yeah. So my final thoughts are: we need game ownership. We need to get push for more affordability and more ownership, and we can't always get sucked in by the black hole of drama.
Indeed. And then please keep it short and sweet.
My final thought: when you buy something, you're supposed to have the rights to own it. That's my final thought for that.
Yes, I 100% agree. Money is used to pay for goods and services.
And have the prices.
You didn't go to Walmart or whatever store you go to and bought that sweet ass, well, I don't know, video game or food, whatever, just to rent it. You bought it to own it. You should own it. This isn't libertarian where you own it as long as you're touching it. This isn't you own a portion of it. You don't rent it out and have to return it one day. You can do whatever you want. You want to use it to, I don't know, create a bonfire? That's your property now. You can do so because you exchange goods for services. That's my thoughts. You own your shit. And it's time for customers to read the terms of service and let these companies know, which is going to be, yes, as Val said, it's going to be an uphill battle because we don't like to read things. We like to just hurry up, shut the fuck up, Lavistro, and get to the point kind of thing. So, yes, it's an uphill battle. But the more of us keep talking about it and bringing awareness, regardless if you're a streamer of, I don't know, 98 subscribers, 500 subscribers, 1K subscribers, maybe you're just a freaking viewer like Val. The more of us talk about it, number one, people are going to take notice and give it a voice and stop paying attention to drama farming that takes up the attention that is not needed. As far as 40K, it was a very interesting and stimulating conversation. I loved hearing Val. Thank you for coming. I really loved hearing you three nerd about you, Dash, and Common Nerd, basically nerd about 40K. It's something that really is needed in our community. It's people just.
Don't worry, I could go for days.
Oh, I know you could. That's why I was sitting here in the background, just trying to mediate the conversation. Because I was like, if this was like talking about dragons, I would have to tell Dash or Bub, like, I need y'all here, because I know Dan would. He'd be egging it on. But Dash or both is like, hey, Lavistro, you went from talking about dragons to talking about dragons and Harry Potter to talking about Harry Potter and why Skyrim doesn't have dragons. You need to get it right back to the topic, right? So that's why I was here to sit back and like watch the show and ask questions from a outsider point of view. And I really enjoyed hearing it. Like I said, it was really, I learned a lot. I hope my viewers learned a lot. And yeah. So thank you for coming on. And if you start streaming, you just let me know and I will make sure people know you stream, because you're awesome, dude. That being said,
I enjoy just watching. Oh, no, I was just saying, I actually enjoy watching you guys more while I'm gaming. It's more fun for me.
Yeah, it's been an honor. And it's also an honor to, to have you carry Dan the whole way through Gooners for Life, their first Ascendant.
You know what it is, though? Valkiria Winter always been around.
Yeah.
Hey, don't bring up Luna, okay?
So is Mikey and everything. No, I'm not getting emotional. I'm just having have you guys fun. You guys
don't be gay about it. Don't be like.
No, you guys had a lot of fun. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah. But that being said, I mean, Val, if you want to add something for your outro, you can go ahead. Otherwise, I'm going to start with my panelists because do you want shit? Do you have shit this show?
I'm gonna.
Hold on.
Probably.
That hold on. It's valid because I'm making sure he doesn't have shit to show because I don't want to assume things.
No. Like I said, I watch you guys when I'm gaming, and that's it. I jump on Discord when either you guys are on, and I'll be just talking all that sort of stuff, give each other crap. That's about it. So yeah, I'm again happy just listening to you guys because you guys do great work, all of you, all three of you.
Thank you.
Even Nerd as well. So yeah.
Yeah. That being said, it's time for our outros. So, Dash, what do you got going on this week? What do you have going on tonight? What do you want people to know about that happened this past week that people need to really pay attention to on your channel and what you're doing?
Okay, so I think I finally beat the algorithm a little bit. It's been pretty dry on YouTube for a while, but I think we're almost out of the dry end. But I got lots of games I still need to finish. One of them being Jedi Survivor. So I don't know when I'm going to get back to that game, but probably since it's May, I'll probably get back to playing it like soon. But for now, I just got my physical copy of Clair Obscure Expedition 33 for PS5. So I'm going to set up a stream for that right after this.
Awesome. Yes, I will try to watch some of that. I always pop in and work. I try to help all you guys out because y'all help me out. So it's awesome,
man.
And yes, if you have it, because I was actually distracted with my son, go ahead and post your link to your channel for any new members watching.
Oh yeah,
because I got distracted, I couldn't do it.
Well, Phil's been posting like all of our channels in the Discord. I mean, in the chat. Like,
yes, he's been good at that. He's awesome.
He's fantastic at that.
Yes, and that being said, Dan, what do people need to know about you had going on this past week? What are you having going on tonight? And what should people look forward to next week in the future? What you got going on your channel?
For the past week, I've been doing retro gaming on the Raspberry Pi 5. I also have another hard drive coming up for the Raspberry Pi 5. No, actually, the Raspberry Pi 3 I'm working on right now. And I also have a hard drive coming in through the mail from the UK, which I'm looking for, which has 45,000 video games. But for the past this whole week, I was actually streaming retro games. Actually been playing the first Berserker, which I was playing last night. And tonight I have a game stream with Gooners for Life with you guys on Discord. Also as well, Lavistro plays and Retro Overkill. No rivals at Rumble. So we're going to have have some fun. And I think tomorrow I should be able to stream another game. I don't know for sure if I'm gonna stream on YouTube or Rumble, but most likely gonna be on YouTube, more retro gaming. But the fact, yeah. I gotta show you a project when I get a chance on Lavistro. You're gonna like this one when I get it.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yes. Now, my turn. I'm just going this way. So, as you know, I'm Lavistro, the Dragon of Cyberspace, coming to you with all news, tips, and tricks within the gaming spectrum. And all I want to do is just fucking play. So, I actually had problems with Filmora that made it impossible for me to cover news. And I'll be catching up on news again starting Monday. I might be a little late for it, but Monday I'll have some news. So there'll be some news about Polygon, some games I found that I don't want to mention because I want y'all to keep an eye out for them. I also I'm going to be playing with the First Ascendant with Furious Damage, tonight. So if you want to see a bunch of friends roasting each other and you want to see Mikey get roasted, not Mikey, if you want to see Dan get roasted again and hear his bad takes and I roast him for it, it's a good time because it's basically, we get a lot of comments on it about, it reminds them when they used to play with their friends back in the day. So it's a good way to chillax and laugh and have some fun. Sunday, I might be streaming the remaining bit for the Easter event because I'm almost at the full-blown trophy upgrade that the community voted for. And playing The Witcher 2 and Oblivion Remaster. So those schedules are already up, and it might change, but those are the two games coming up. And don't forget that Hugo will be on as well next week to discuss the new Hypnotic game. That being said, don't let people tell you what games you should play. Don't let people tell you how to live your life. Be a fucking gamer and not a fucking poser. As always, happy gaming. You're still here. What? You thought there'd be a post-credit scene or something? This isn't a Disney movie. The show's over. Go get some sleep. Play a video game. Watch another YouTube video. I gotta take care of the Dragon League and possibly get some sleep myself. Goodbye all, and thanks for watching. And happy gaming.